Jupiter, God. 95 languages. Jupiter, King of the gods. God of the sky and diurnal thunder. Member of the Archaic Triad, Capitoline Triad and the Dieconsents. A marble statue of Jupiter. Other names: Jove. Venerated in imperial cult of ancient Rome. Jove redirects here. For other uses, see Jove, disambiguation. Jupiter, Latin, Ipiter or Jupiter, 14, from Proto-Italic * Jews Day, sky plus * pater. Father, thus Sky Father Greek, or 15, also known as Jove, Geniovis. JWS, is the god of the sky and thunder, and king of the gods in ancient Roman religion and mythology. Jupiter was the chief deity of Roman state religion throughout the Republican and Imperial eras, until Christianity became the dominant religion of the empire. In Roman mythology, he negotiates with Numa Pompilius, the second king of Rome, to establish principles of Roman religion such as offering, or sacrifice. Jupiter is usually thought to have originated as a sky god. His identifying implement is the thunderbolt and his primary sacred animal is the eagle, 16-17, which held problems donating. Other ways to give frequently asked questions: we never sell your information. By submitting, you are agreeing to our donor privacy policy. The Wikimedia Foundation is a non-profit, tax-exempt organization. If you make a recurring donation, you will be debited by the Wikimedia Foundation until you notify us to stop. We'll send you an email, which will include a link to easy cancellation instructions. I already donated. How often would you like to donate? One time give monthly. Please select an amount, USD. The average donation in the United States is around $13. $2.75, $10, $15. $25, $50, $75. $100 other. Please select a payment method. Maybe later. 1. Suzo RCN. 2. 3. Continue. The Internet we were promised. The 21st of November, an important update for readers in the United States. You deserve an explanation, so please don't skip this 1-minute read. It's Thursday, the 21st of November, and this message will be up only briefly. Please read on how often you've visited Wikipedia this year and if you're able to give $2.75 to the Wikimedia Foundation. If everyone reading this gave $2.75, we'd hit our goal in a few hours. The Internet we were promised, a place of free, collaborative, and accessible knowledge, is under constant threat. On Wikipedia, volunteers work together to create and verify the pages you rely on, supported by tools that undo vandalism within minutes, ensuring the information you seek is trustworthy. Just 2% of our readers donate, so if you have given in the past and Wikipedia still provides you with $2.75 worth of knowledge, donate today. If you are undecided, remember any contribution helps, whether it's $2.75 or $25. Proud host of Wikipedia and its sister sites. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Polytheistic religion. Abode the heavens. Planet Jupiter, 1. Symbol lightning bolt, eagle, oak tree. Day Thursday, dies Jovis. Genealogy. Parents Saturn and Ops, 2, 3. Siblings Vesta, Ceres, Juno, Pluto, Neptune. Consort Juno. Children Mars, Vulcan, Baena, Angelos, Eleucina, Juventas, Minerva, Hercules. Equivalents. Albanian Zoges, 4. Canaanite Baal, 5. Etruscan Tynia. Greek Zeus, 6. Hindu Brihaspati, 7, Dios Pitta, 8. Indo-European Dios Bhtr. Mesopotamian Anu, 9, 10. Disputed, Enlil, 11, Hadad, 12, Alpi, 13. Egyptian Aman. Precedence over other birds in the taking of auspices, 18, and became one of the most common symbols of the Roman army, c. Aquila. The two emblems were often combined to represent the god in the form of an eagle holding in its claws a thunderbolt, frequently seen on Greek and Roman coins. 19. As the sky god, he was a divine witness to oaths, the sacred trust on which justice and good government depend. Many of his functions were focused on the Capitoline Hill, where the citadel was located. In the Capitoline Triad, he was the central guardian of the state. With Juno and Minerva, his sacred tree was the oak. The Romans regarded Jupiter as the equivalent of the Greek Zeus, 20, and in Latin literature and Roman art, the myths and iconography of Zeus are adapted under the name Jupiter. In the Greek-influenced tradition, Jupiter was the brother of Neptune and Pluto, the Roman equivalents of Poseidon, and Hades, each presided over one of the three realms of the universe, sky, the respectively waters, and the underworld. The Italic despota was also a sky god who manifested himself in the daylight, usually identified with Jupiter. 21. Tynia is usually regarded as his Etruscan counterpart. 22. Role in the state, edit. The Romans believed that Jupiter granted them supremacy because they had honored him more than any other people had. Jupiter was the fount of the auspices upon which the relationship of the city with the gods rested. 23. He personified the divine authority of Rome's highest offices, internal organization, and external relations. His image in the Republican and imperial capital bore regalia associated with Rome's ancient kings and the highest consular and imperial honors. 24. The consuls swore their oath of office in Jupiter's name, and honored him on the annual Ferie of the Capitol in September. To thank him for his help, and to secure his continued support, they sacrificed a white ox, Bos Mars, with gilded horns. 25. A similar sacrificial offering was made by triumphal generals, who surrendered the tokens of their victory at the feet of Jupiter's statue in the Capitol. Some scholars have viewed the triumphator as embodying, or impersonating, Jupiter in the triumphal procession. 26. Jupiter's association with kingship and sovereignty was reinterpreted as Rome's form of government changed. Originally, Rome was ruled by kings. After the monarchy was abolished and the republic established, religious prerogatives were transferred to the patres, the patrician ruling class. Nostalgia for the kingship, affectatio regni, was considered treasonous. Those suspected of harboring monarchical ambitions were punished, regardless of their service to the state. In the 5th century BC, the triumphator Camillus was sent into exile after he drove a chariot with a team of 4 white horses. Quadriga, an honor reserved for Jupiter himself. When Marcus Manlius, whose defense of the Capitol against the invading Gauls had earned him the name Capitolinus, was accused of regal pretensions, he was executed as a traitor by being cast from the Tarpeian rock. His house on the Capitoline hill was razed, and it was decreed that no patrician should ever be allowed to live there. 27. Capitoline Jupiter represented a continuity of royal power from the regal period, and conferred power to the magistrates who paid their respects to him. 28. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Detail of relief from the Augustan altar of peace, showing Flamines wearing the pointed apex. Statue of Jupiter. Vatican, Rome. Jupiter's head crowned with laurel and ivy. Sardonyx cameo, Louvre. Jupiter Zeus with thunderbolt and scepter in the clouds. Fresco in Herculaneum, 137 AD. During the conflict of the orders, Rome's plebeians demanded the right to hold political and religious office. During their first secession, similar to a general strike, they withdrew from the city and threatened to found their own. When they agreed to come back to Rome, they vowed the hill where they had retreated to Jupiter as symbol and guarantor of the unity of the Roman Respublica. 29. Plebeians eventually became eligible for all the magistracies and most priesthoods, but the high priest of Jupiter, Flamen Dialis, remained the preserve of patricians. 30. Flamen and Flamiaca Dialis, edit. Main article, Flamen Dialis. Jupiter was served by the patrician Flamen Dialis, the highest-ranking member of the Flamines, a college of 15 priests in the official public cult of Rome, each of whom was devoted to a particular deity. His wife, the Flamiaca Dialis, had her own duties, and presided over the sacrifice of a ram to Jupiter on each of the Nundini, the market days of a calendar cycle, comparable to a week. 31. The couple were required to marry by the exclusive patrician ritual Confariatio, which included a sacrifice of spelt bread to Jupiter Farus, from fa, wheat, grain. 32. The office of Flamen Dialis was circumscribed by several unique ritual prohibitions, some of which shed light on the sovereign nature of the god himself. 33. For instance, the Flamen may remove his clothes or apex, his pointed hat, only when under a roof, in order to avoid showing himself naked to the sky, that is, as if under the eyes of Jupiter as god of the heavens. Every time the Flamiaca saw a lightning bolt or heard a clap of thunder, Jupiter's distinctive instrument, she was prohibited from carrying on with her normal routine until she placated the god. 34. Some privileges of the Flamen of Jupiter may reflect the regal nature of Jupiter. He had the use of the curule chair, 35, and was the only priest, sacerdos, who was preceded by a lictor, 36, and had a seat in the Senate. 37. Other regulations concern his ritual purity and his separation from the military function. He was forbidden to ride a horse or see the army outside the sacred boundary of Rome, Pomorum. Although he served the god who embodied the sanctity of the oath, it was not religiously permissible, fars, for the Dialis to swear an oath. 38. He could not have contacts with anything dead or connected with death, corpses, funerals, funeral fires, raw meat, This set of restrictions reflects the fullness of life and absolute freedom that are features of Jupiter. 39. Augurs, edit. The augurs publici. Augurs were a college of sacerdotes who were in charge of all inaugurations and of the performing of ceremonies known as auguria. Their creation was traditionally ascribed to Romulus. They were considered the only official interpreters of Jupiter's will, thence they were essential to the very existence of the Roman state, as Romans saw in Jupiter the only source of state authority. Fetiales, edit. The Fetiales were a college of 20 men devoted to the religious administration of international affairs of state. 40, 41, 42. Their task was to preserve and apply the Fetial law, ius fetiale, a complex set of procedures aimed at ensuring the protection of Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Deca fragment of a triumphal arch, the Emperor's Guards, the Praetorian Guard, featured in a relief with an eagle grasping a thunderbolt through its claws, in reference to Roman equivalent form of Jupiter. The gods in Rome's relations with foreign states. Iapiter Lapis is the god under whose protection they act, and whom the chief Fetial, Pater Patratus, invokes in the rite concluding a treaty. 43. If a declaration of war ensues, the Fetial calls upon Jupiter and Quirinus, the heavenly, earthly and chthonic gods, as witnesses of any potential violation of the ius. He can then declare war within 33 days. 44. The action of the Fetials falls under Jupiter's jurisdiction as the divine defender of good faith. Several emblems of the Fetial office pertain to Jupiter. The silex was the stone used for the Fetial sacrifice, housed in the temple of Iapiter Fratrius, as was their scepter. Sacred herbs, sagmina, sometimes identified as vervain, had to be taken from the nearby citadel, arcs, for their ritual use. 45, 46. Jupiter and religion in the secessions of the plebs, edit. The role of Jupiter in the conflict of the orders is a reflection of the religiosity of the Romans. On one side, the patricians were able to naturally claim the support of the supreme god as they held the auspices of the state. On the other side, the plebeians, argued that, as Jupiter was the source of justice, they had his favor, because their cause was just. The first secession was caused by the excessive debt burden on the plebs. The legal institute of the necum permitted a debtor to become a slave of his creditor. The plebs argued the debts had become unsustainable because of the expenses of the wars wanted by the patricians. As the Senate did not accede to the proposal of a total debt remission advanced by Dictator and Augumenius Valerius Maximus, the plebs retired on the Mount Sacca, a hill located 3 Roman miles to the north-northeast of Rome, past the Nomentan Bridge on River Unio. 47. The place is windy and was usually the site of rites of divination performed by haruspices. The Senate in the end sent a delegation composed of 10 members with full powers of making a deal with the plebs, of which were part Menenius Agrippa and Manius Valorus. It was Valorus, according to the inscription found at Arezzo in 1688 and written on the order of Augustus as well as other literary sources, that brought the plebs down from the mount, after the secessionists had consecrated it to Jupiter Territor and built an altar, ARA, on its summit. The fear of the wrath of Jupiter was an important element in the solution of the crisis. The consecration of the mount probably referred to its summit only. The ritual requested the participation of both an augur, presumably Manius Valorous himself, and a pontifex. 48. The second secession was caused by the autocratic and arrogant behavior of the decemviri, who had been charged by the Roman people with writing down the laws in use till then kept secret by the patrician magistrates and the sacerdotes. All magistracies and the tribunes of the plebs had resigned in advance. The task resulted in the 12 tables, which though concerned only private law, the plebs once again retreated to the sacraments. This act, besides recalling the first secession, was meant to seek the protection of the supreme God. The secession ended with the resignation of the decemviri and an amnesty for the rebellious soldiers who had deserted from their camp near Mount Algidus while warring against the Volscians, abandoning the commanders. The amnesty was granted by the Senate and guaranteed by the Pontifex Maximus Quintus Furius, in Livy's version, or Marcus Papirius, who also supervised the nomination of the new tribunes of the plebs. Then gathered on the Aventine Hill. The role played by the Pontifex Maximus in a situation of vacation of powers is a significant element underlining the religious basis and character of the tribunicia potestas. 49. Myths and Legends, edit. A dominant line of scholarship has held that Rome lacked a body of myths in its earliest period, or that this original mythology has been irrecoverably obscured by the influence of the Greek narrative tradition. 50. After the influence of Greek culture on Roman culture, Latin literature and iconography reinterpreted the myths of Zeus in depictions and narratives of Jupiter. In the legendary history of Rome, Jupiter is often connected to kings and kingship. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Jupiter in a wall painting from Pompeii. With eagle and globe, 62. 79 AD. Birth, edit. Jupiter is depicted as the twin of Juno in a statue at Praeneste that showed them nursed by Fortuna Primigenia. 51. An inscription that is also from Praeneste, however, says that Fortuna Primigenia was Jupiter's firstborn child. 52. Jacqueline Champio sees this contradiction as the result of successive different cultural and religious phases, in which a wave of influence coming from the Hellenic world made Fortuna the daughter of Jupiter. 53. The childhood of Zeus is an important theme in Greek religion, art and literature, but there are only rare, or dubious, depictions of Jupiter as a child. 54. Numa Pompilius, edit. Faced by a period of bad weather endangering the harvest during one early spring, King Numa resorted to the scheme of asking the advice of the god by evoking his presence. 55. He succeeded through the help of Picus and Faunus, whom he had imprisoned by making them drunk. The two gods, with a charm, evoked Jupiter, who was forced to come down to earth at the Aventine, hence named Iupiter Elysius, according to Ovid. After Numa skillfully avoided the requests of the god for human sacrifices, Jupiter agreed to his request to know how lightning bolts are averted, asking only for the substitutions. Numa had mentioned an onion bulb, hares and a fish. Moreover, Jupiter promised that at the sunrise of the following day, he would give to Numa and the Roman people pawns of the Imperium. The following day, after throwing 3 lightning bolts across a clear sky, Jupiter sent down from heaven a shield. Since this shield had no angles, Numa named it Ancile. because in it resided the fate of the Imperium. He had many copies made of it to disguise the real one. He asked the smith, Mamurius Viturius, to make the copies, and gave them to the Salii. As his only reward, Mamurius expressed the wish that his name be sung in the last of their Carmina. 56. Plutarch gives a slightly different version of the story, writing that the cause of the miraculous drop of the shield was a plague and not linking it with the Roman Imperium. 57. Tullus Hostilius, edit. Throughout his reign, King Tullus had a scornful attitude towards religion. His temperament was warlike, and he disregarded religious rites and piety. After conquering the Albans with the duel between the Horatii and Curiatii, Tullus destroyed Alba Longa and deported its inhabitants to Rome. As Livy tells the story, omens, prodigia, in the form of a rain of stones occurred on the Alban Mount because the deported Albans had disregarded their ancestral rites linked to the sanctuary of Jupiter. In addition to the omens, a voice was heard requesting that the Albans perform the rites. A plague followed, and at last the king himself fell ill. As a consequence, the warlike character of Tullus broke down. He resorted to religion and petty, superstitious practices. At last, he found a book by Numa recording a secret rite on how to evoke Jupiter. Eliseus. The king attempted to perform it, but since he executed the rite improperly, the god threw a lightning bolt which burned down the king's house and killed Tullus. 58. Tarquin the Elder, edit. When approaching Rome, where Tarquin was heading to try his luck in politics after unsuccessful attempts in his native Tarquinii, an eagle swooped down, removed his hat, flew screaming in circles, replaced the hat on his head and flew away. Tarquin's wife Tanaquil interpreted this as a sign that he would become king based on the bird, the quadrant of the sky from which it came, the god who had sent it, and the fact it touched his hat, an item of clothing placed on a man's most noble part, the head. 59. The elder Tarquin is credited with introducing the Capitoline triad to Rome, by building the so-called Capitolium Vetus. Macrobius writes this issued from his Samothracian mystery beliefs. 60. Cult, edit. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Emperor Marcus Aurelius, attended by his family, offers sacrifice outside the temple of Jupiter Capitolinus after his victories in Germany. Late 2nd century AD. Capitoline Museum, Rome. Colossal statue of Jupiter in the Hermitage Museum. Altar to Jupiter on the outskirts of Legionary Fortress, 2nd 3rd century. Sacrifices, edit. Sacrificial victims, hostii, offered to Jupiter were the ox, castrated bull, the lamb, on the Ides, the ovisigilies, and the wether, a castrated goat or castrated ram, on the Ides of January. 61. The animals were required to be white. The question of the lamb's gender is unresolved. While a sacrificial lamb for a male deity was usually male, for the vintage opening festival the Flamandialis sacrificed a ewe lamb to Jupiter. 62. This rule seems to have had many exceptions, as the sacrifice of a ram on the Nundini by the Flamiaca Dialis demonstrates. During one of the crises of the Punic Wars, Jupiter was offered every animal born that year. 63. Temples, edit. Temple of Capitoline Jupiter, edit. Main article, Temple of Jupiter, Capitoline Hill. The Temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus stood on the Capitoline Hill in Rome. 64. Jupiter was worshipped there as an individual deity, and with Juno and Minerva as part of the Capitoline triad. The building was supposedly begun by King Tarquinius Priscus, completed by the last king, Tarquinius Superbus, and inaugurated in the early days of the Roman Republic, 13 September 509 BC. It was topped with the statues of 4 horses drawing a quadriga, with Jupiter as charioteer. A large statue of Jupiter stood within. On festival days, its face was painted red. 65. In, or near, this temple was the Iapita lapis, the Jupiter stone, on which oaths could be sworn. Jupiter's Capitoline temple probably served as the architectural model for his provincial temples. When Hadrian built Aelia Capitolina on the site of Jerusalem, a temple to Jupiter Capitolinus was erected in the place of the destroyed temple in Jerusalem. Other temples in Rome, edit. There were 2 temples in Rome dedicated to Iapita Stata. The first one was built and dedicated in 294 BC by Marcus Atilius Regulus after the Third Samnite War. It was located on the Via Nova, below the Porta Muginaea, ancient entrance to the Palatine. 66. Legend attributed its founding to Romulus. 67. There may have been an earlier shrine, Phanum, since the Jupiter cult is attested epigraphically. 68. Ovid places the temple's dedication on the 27th of June, but it is unclear whether this was the original date, 69, or the rededication after the restoration by Augustus. A second temple of Iapita Stata was built and dedicated by Quintus Caecilius Metellus Macedonicus after his triumph in 146 BC near the Circus Flaminius. It was connected to the restored temple of Iano Regina with a portico, Porticus Metelli. 70. Augustus constructed the Temple of Jupiter Tonans near that of Jupiter Capitolinus between 26 and 22 BC. 71. Iapita Victor had a temple dedicated by Quintus Fabius Maximus Gurges during the Third Samnite War in 295 BC. It was probably on the Quirinal, on which an inscription reading Diovia Victor, 72, has been found, but was eclipsed by the imperial period by the Temple of Jupiter Invictus on the Palatine, which was often referred to by the same name. 73. Inscriptions from the Imperial Age have revealed the existence of an otherwise unknown temple of Iapita Propugnator on the Palatine. 74. Iapita Laciaris and Fieri Latina, edit. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. AD. Inscription dedicated by L. Lollius Clarus for himself and his family. The cult of Iapita Laciaris was the most ancient known cult of the god. It was practiced since very remote times near the top of the Mons Albanus, on which the god was venerated as the high protector of the Latin League under the hegemony of Alba Longa. After the destruction of Alba by King Tullus Hostilius, the cult was forsaken. The god manifested his discontent through the prodigy of a rain of stones. The commission sent by the Roman Senate to inquire was also greeted by a rain of stones, and heard a loud voice from the grove on the summit of the mount requesting the Albans perform the religious service to the god according to the rites of their country. In consequence of this event, the Romans instituted a festival of 9 days, Nundani. Nonetheless a plague ensued. In the end Tullus Hostilius himself was affected, and lastly killed by the god with a lightning bolt. 75. The festival was re-established on its primitive site by the last Roman King Tarquin the Proud under the leadership of Rome. The Feriae Latina, or Latia as they were known originally, 76, were the common festival, Panegyris, of the so-called Priscan Latins, 77, and of the Albans. 78. Their restoration aimed at grounding Roman hegemony in this ancestral religious tradition of the Latins. The original cult was reinstated unchanged as is testified by some archaic features of the ritual, the exclusion of wine from the sacrifice, 79, the offers of milk and cheese and the ritual use of rocking among the games. Rocking is one of the most ancient rites mimicking ascent to heaven and is very widespread. At the Latia the rocking took place on a tree and the winner was of course the one who had swung the highest. This rite was said to have been instituted by the Albans to commemorate the disappearance of King Latinus, in the battle against Mezentius king of Syria. The rite symbolized a search for him both on earth and in heaven. The rocking as well as the customary drinking of milk was also considered to commemorate and ritually reinstate infancy. 80. The Romans in the last form of the rite brought the sacrificial ox from Rome and every participant was bestowed a portion of the meat, rite known as carnem paeteria. 81. Other games were held in every participant borough. In Rome a race of chariots, quadrigae, was held starting from the Capitol. The winner drank a liquor made with absinthe. 82. This competition has been compared to the Vedic rite of the Vajrapura. In it, 17 chariots run a phony race which must be won by the king in order to allow him to drink a cup of madhu, i.e. Sama. 83. The feasting lasted for at least 4 days, possibly 6 according to Nibbura, 1 day for each of the 6 Latin and Alban decurii. 84. According to different records 47 or 53 boroughs took part in the festival, the listed names too differ in Pliny Naturalis Historia 369 and Dionysius of Halicarnassus RV 61. The Latia became an important feature of Roman political life as they were feriae conceptivi, i.e. their date varied each year. The consuls and the highest magistrates were required to attend shortly after the beginning of the administration. Originally on the Ides of March, the feriae usually took place in early April. They could not start campaigning before its end, and if any part of the games had been neglected or performed unrightly, the Latia had to be wholly repeated. The inscriptions from the Imperial Age record the festival back to the time of the Decemvirs. 85. Wizoa remarks the inner linkage of the temple of the Mons Albanus with that of the Capitol, apparent in the common association with the rite of the Triumph. 86. Since 231 BC some triumphing commanders had triumphed there first with the same legal features as in Rome. 87. Religious calendar, edit. See also, Roman calendar. Ides, edit. The Ides, the midpoint of the month, with a full moon, was sacred to Jupiter, because on that day heavenly light shone day and night. 88. Some, or all, Ides were feriae Iovis, sacred to Jupiter. B. On the Ides, a white lamb, Ovis Igilis, was led along Rome's sacred way to the Capitoline citadel and sacrificed to him. 89. Jupiter's 2 Epula Iovis festivals fell on the Ides, as did his temple foundation rites as Optimus Maximus, Victor, Invictus and, possibly, Stator. 90. Nundani, edit. The Nundani recurred every 9th day, dividing the calendar into a market cycle analogous to a week. Market days gave rural people, pagi, the opportunity to sell in town and to be informed of religious and political edicts, which were posted. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Publicly for 3 days. According to tradition, these festival days were instituted by the king Servius Tullius. 91. The high priestess of Jupiter, Flamiaca Dialis, sanctified the days by sacrificing a ram to Jupiter. 92. Festivals, edit. See also, Roman festivals. During the Republican era, more fixed holidays on the Roman calendar were devoted to Jupiter than to any other deity. 93. Viniculture and wine, edit. Festivals of viniculture and wine were devoted to Jupiter, since grapes were particularly susceptible to adverse weather. 94. Du Mézil describes wine as a kingly drink with the power to inebriate and exhilarate, analogous to the Vedic summer. 95. 3 Roman festivals were connected with viniculture and wine. The rustic Vinalia Ultra on the 19th of August asked for good weather for ripening the grapes before harvest. 96. When the grapes were ripe. 97. A sheep was sacrificed to Jupiter and the Flamen Dialis cut the first of the grape harvest. 98. 99. The Mediterranelia on the 11th of October marked the end of the grape harvest. The new wine was pressed, tasted and mixed with old wine. 100. To control fermentation. In the Fastia Miterninae, this festival is assigned to Jupiter. Later Roman sources invented a goddess Mediterrana, probably to explain the name of the festival. 101. At the Vinalia Urbana on the 23rd of April, new wine was offered to Jupiter. C. Large quantities of it were poured into a ditch near the Temple of Venus Iracema, which was located on the Capitol. 103. Regifugium and Poplarfugium, edit. See also, Regifugium and Poplarfugia. The Regifugium, King's Flight, 104, on the 24th of February has often been discussed in connection with the Poplarfugia on the 5th of July, a day holy to Jupiter. 105, d. The Regifugium followed the festival of Iupiter Terminus, Jupiter of Boundaries, on the 23rd of February. Later Roman antiquarians misinterpreted the Regifugium as marking the expulsion of the monarchy, but the king of this festival may have been the priest known as the Rex Sacrorum who ritually enacted the waning and renewal of power. Associated with the new year, the 1st of March in the Old Roman calendar. 107. A temporary vacancy of power, construed as a yearly interregnum, occurred between the Regifugium on the 24th of February and the New Year on the 1st of March, when the lunar cycle was thought to coincide again with the solar cycle, and the uncertainty and change during the 2 winter months were over. 108. Some scholars emphasize the traditional political significance of the day. 109. The Poplarfugia, routing of armies. 110. A day sacred to Jupiter, may similarly mark the second half of the year. Before the Julian calendar reform, the months were named numerically, quintilis, the 5th month, to December, the 10th month. E. The Poplarfugia was a primitive military ritual for which the adult male population assembled for purification rites, after which they ritually dispelled foreign invaders from Rome. 112. Epula Iovis, edit. See also, Epulum Jovis. There were 2 festivals called Epulum Iovis, Feast of Jove. One was held on the 13th of September, the anniversary of the foundation of Jupiter's Capitoline Temple. The other, and probably older, festival was part of the plebeian games, Ludi Plebii, and was held on the 13th of November. 113. In the 3rd century BC, the epulum Iovis became similar to a lectistonium. 114. Ludi, edit. See also, Ludi. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Neo-Attic bas-relief. Sculpture of Jupiter, holding a thunderbolt in his right hand, detail from the Munclo-Putial. Roman, 2nd century. National Archaeological Museum, Madrid. The most ancient Roman games followed after one day, considered a dies ita, or black day, i.e. a day which was traditionally considered unfortunate even though it was not nefas. See also article Glossary of Ancient Roman Religion, the 2 Epula Iovis of September and November. The games of September were named Ludi Magni. Originally they were not held every year, but later became the annual Ludi Romani, 115, and were held in the Circus Maximus after a procession from the capital. The games were attributed to Tarquinius Priscus, 116, and linked to the cult of Jupiter on the Capitol. Romans themselves acknowledged analogies with the triumph, which Dumézil thinks can be explained by their common Etruscan origin. The magistrate in charge of the games dressed as the triumphator, and the pompous circensis resembled a triumphal procession. Wizard and Mommsen argue that they were a detached part of the triumph on the above grounds. 117, a conclusion which Dumézil rejects. 118. The Ludi Plebii took place in November in the Circus Flaminius. 119. Mommsen argued that the epulum of the Ludi Plebii was the model of the Ludi Romani, but Wizard finds the evidence for this assumption insufficient. 120. The Ludi Plebii were probably established in 534 BC. Their association with the cult of Jupiter is attested by Cicero. 121. Larentalia, edit. The Fierii of the 23rd of December were devoted to a major ceremony in honor of Acca Larentia, or Larentina, in which some of the highest religious authorities participated, probably including the Flamen Quirinalis and the pontiffs. The Fasti Praenestini marks the day as Fierii Iovis, as does Macrobius. 122. It is unclear whether the rite of parentatio was itself the reason for the festival of Jupiter, or if this was another festival which happened to fall on the same day. Wizard denies their association, since Jupiter and his flamen would not be involved with the underworld or the deities of death, or be present at a funeral rite held at a gravesite. 123. Name and epithets, edit. The Latin name Iupiter originated as a vocative compound of the Old Latin vocative *iu and pater, father, and came to replace the Old Latin nominative case *ius. Jove, F, is a less common English formation based on Iof, the stem of oblique cases of the Latin name. Linguistic studies identify the form *iu pater as deriving from the Proto-Italic vocable *Jews. Pater, 15, and ultimately the Indo-European vocative compound *deuter, meaning o father sky god, nominative, *dius btr. 124. Older forms of the deity's name in Rome were Dius pater, day /sky father, then Dies pater. 125. The 19th-century philologist Georg Wieser asserted these names are conceptually and linguistically connected to Diovis and Diovis pater. He compares the analogous formations Vidius Viove and Fulgur Dium, as opposed to Fulgur Summonum, nocturnal lightning bolt, and Flamen Dialis, based on Dies, dies. 126. The ancient later viewed them as entities separate from Jupiter. The terms are similar in etymology and semantics. Dies, daylight, and dies, daytime sky, but differ linguistically. Wieser considers the epithet Dianus noteworthy. 127, 128. Di uses the etymological equivalent of ancient Greece Zeus and of the Teutonics Zeu, genitive Zeus. The Indo-European deity is the god from which the names and partially the theology of Jupiter, Zeus, and the Indo-Aryan Vedic Dios Pitta derive or have developed. 129. The Roman practice of swearing by Jove to witness an oath in law courts, 130, 131, is the origin of the expression by Jove. Archaic, but still in use. The name of the god was also adopted as the name of the planet. Jupiter. The adjective jovial originally described those born under the planet of Jupiter, 132, reputed to be jolly, optimistic, and buoyant in temperament. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. A bronze statue of Jupiter, from the territory of the Treveri. Jove was the original namesake of Latin forms of the weekday now known in English as Thursday, originally called Diovis. Dies in Latin. These became Jeudi in French, Jueves in Spanish, Joy in Romanian, Giovdi in Italian, Dijous in Catalan, Xovs in Galician, Joib in Friulian, and Diju in Provençal. Major epithets, edit. Main article, Epithets of Jupiter. The epithets of a Roman god indicate his theological qualities. The study of these epithets must consider their origins, the historical context of an epithet's source. Jupiter's most ancient attested forms of cult belong to the state cult. These include the Mount cult, see section above note N22. In Rome this cult entailed the existence of particular sanctuaries, the most important of which were located on Mons Capitolinus, earlier Tarptus. The mount had two tops that were both destined to the discharge of acts of cult related to Jupiter. The northern and higher top was the Arx, and on it was located the observation place of the augurs, Auguraculum. And to it headed the monthly procession of the Sacra Idulia. 133. On the southern top was to be found the most ancient sanctuary of the god, the shrine of Iapita Fritrius, allegedly built by Romulus, restored by Augustus. The god here had no image and was represented by the sacred flintstone, silex. 134. The most ancient known rites, those of the Spolia Opima and of the fetials which connect Jupiter with Mars and Quirinus, are dedicated to Iapita Fritrius or Iapita Lapis. 135. The concept of the sky god was already overlapped with the ethical and political domain since this early time. According to Wieser and Dumézil, Iapita Lapis seems to be inseparable from Iapita Fritrius, in whose tiny temple on the Capitol the stone was lodged. 136. Another most ancient epithet is Lucetius, although the ancients, followed by some modern scholars such as Wieser, 126, interpreted it as referring to sunlight. The Carmen shows that it refers to lightning. 137, A further confirmation of this interpretation is provided by the sacred meaning of lightning, which is reflected in the sensitivity of the Flamiaca dialis to the phenomenon. 138. To the same atmospheric complex belongs the epithet alisius, while the ancient erudites thought it was connected to lightning. It is in fact related to the opening of the reservoirs of rain, as is testified by the ceremony of the Nudipedalia, meant to propitiate rainfall and devoted to Jupiter. 139, and the ritual of the lapis manalis, the stone which was brought into the city through the porta capena and carried around in times of drought, which was named aqualisium. 140. Other early epithets connected with the atmospheric quality of Jupiter are pluvius, imbricius, tempestus, tonitralis, tempestatium divinarum potens, serenata, serenus. 141, h, and, referred to lightning, fulgur. 143, fulgur fulmen. 144, later as nomen agentis fulgurata, fulminata. 145, the high antiquity of the cult is testified by the neuter form fulgur and the use of the term for the bedental, the lightning well dug on the spot hit by a lightning bolt. 146. A group of epithets has been interpreted by Wizua and his followers as a reflection of the agricultural or warring nature of the god, some of which are also in the list of 11 preserved by Augustine. 147, 148. The agricultural ones include Apitulus, Ulmus, Ruminus, Frugifer, Pharus, Pecunia, Dupalis. 149, Epulo. 150. Augustine gives an explanation of the ones he lists, which should reflect Varros, Apitulus because he brings opium, means, relief, to the needy. Ulmus because he nourishes everything, Ruminus because he nourishes the living beings by breastfeeding them, Pecunia because everything belongs to him. 151. Dumézil maintains the cult usage of these epithets is not documented and that the epithet ruminus, as Wizua and Latte remarked, may not have the meaning given by Augustine, but it should be understood as part of a series including Rumina, Ruminalis ficus, Iapita ruminus, which bears the name of Rome itself with an Etruscan vocalism preserved in inscriptions, series that would be preserved in the sacred language, compare Rumic Etruscan for Roman. However, many scholars have argued that the name of Rome, Ruma, meant in fact woman's breast. 152, Diva Rumina, as Augustine testifies in the cited passage, was the goddess of suckling babies. She was venerated near the Ficus Ruminalis and was offered only libations of milk. 153, Here moreover, Augustine cites the verses devoted to Jupiter by Quintus Valerius Serranus, while explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Hypothesizing Iano, more adept in his view as a breastfeeder, i.e. Rumina instead of Ruminus, might be nothing else than Iapita omnipotens regum rerumc diem progenitor genitrix diem. In Dumézil's opinion, Pharus should be understood as related to the rite of the confarreatio, the most sacred form of marriage, the name of which is due to the spelt cake eaten by the spouses, rather than surmising an agricultural quality of the god. The epithet means the god was the guarantor of the effects of the ceremony, to which the presence of his flamen is necessary and that he can interrupt with a clap of thunder. 154. The epithet Dupalis is on the other hand connected to a rite described by Cato and mentioned by Festus. 155. Before the Sowing of autumn or spring, the peasant offered a banquet of roast beef and a cup of wine to Jupiter. It is natural that on such occasions he would entreat the god who has power over the weather. However, Cato's prayer of one of sheer offer and no request. The language suggests another attitude. Jupiter is invited to a banquet which is supposedly abundant and magnificent. The god is honored as Summius. The peasant may hope he shall receive a benefit, but he does not say it. This interpretation finds support in the analogous urban ceremony of the Epulumi Ovis, from which the god derives the epithet of Epulo, and which was a magnificent feast accompanied by flutes. 156. Epithets related to warring are in Wizo's view Iapita Fritrius, Iapita Stata, Iapita Victor and Iapita Invictus. 157. Fritrius would be connected with war by the right of the first type of spolieropoma, which is in fact a dedication to the god of the arms of the defeated king of the enemy that happens whenever he has been killed by the king of Rome or his equivalent authority. Here too Dumezil notes the dedication has to do with regality and not with war, since the right is in fact the offer of the arms of a king by a king. A proof of such an assumption is provided by the fact that the arms of an enemy king captured by an officer or a common soldier were dedicated to Mars and Quirinus respectively. Iapita Stata was first attributed by tradition to Romulus, who had prayed to the god for his almighty help at a difficult time during the battle with the Sabines of King Titus Titius. 158. Dumezil opines the action of Jupiter is not that of a god of war who wins through fighting. Jupiter acts by causing an inexplicable change in the morale of the fighters of the two sides. The same feature can be detected also in the certainly historical record of the Battle of the Third Samnite War in 294 BC, in which consul Marcus Atilius Regulus vowed a temple to Iapita Stata if Jupiter will stop the rout of the Roman army, and if afterwards the Samnite legions shall be victoriously massacred. It looked as if the gods themselves had taken side with Romans, so much easily did the Roman arms succeed in prevailing. 159, 160. In a similar manner one can explain the epithet Victor, whose cult was founded in 295 BC on the battlefield of Sentinum by Quintus Fabius Maximus Gurges, and who received another vow again in 293 by consul Lucius Papirius Cursor before a battle against the Samnite Legio Lentita. The religious meaning of the vow is in both cases an appeal to the supreme god by a Roman chief at a time of need for divine help from the supreme god, albeit for different reasons. Fabius had remained the only political and military responsible of the Roman state after the devotio of P. Decius Mus. Papirius had to face an enemy who had acted with impious rites and vows, i.e. was religiously reprehensible. 161. More recently Dario Sabatuxi has given a different interpretation of the meaning of stata within the frame of his structuralistic and dialectic vision of Roman calendar, identifying oppositions, tensions and equilibria. January is the month of Janus, at the beginning of the year, in the uncertain time of winter. The most ancient calendar had only 10 months, from March to December. In this month Janus deifies kingship and defies Jupiter. Moreover, January sees also the presence of Viovis, who appears as an anti-Jupiter, of Carmenta, who is the goddess of birth and like Janus has two opposed faces. Prausa and Post-Vorta, also named Anti-Vorta, and Porrima, of Euterna, who as a gushing spring evokes the process of coming into being from non-being as the god of passage and change does. In this period the preeminence of Janus needs compensating on the Ides through the action of Jupiter Stator, who plays the role of antijanus, i.e. of moderator of the action of Janus. 162. Epithets denoting functionality, edit. Some epithets describe a particular aspect of the god, or one of his functions. Jovijochus, Jove holder of the goat or aegis, as the father of Egipan. 163. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Jupiter Silas, Jupiter as the sky or heavens, see also Silas. Jupiter Celestus, heavenly or celestial Jupiter. Jupiter Elysius, Jupiter who calls forth celestial omens, or who is called forth by incantations, sender of rain. Jupiter Phrytrius, who carries away the spoils of war. Phrytrius was called upon to witness solemn oaths. 131. The epithet or numen is probably connected with the verb theoria, to strike, referring to a ritual striking of ritual as illustrated in Phoedus Theoria, of which the silex, a quartz rock, is evidence in his temple on the Capitoline Hill, which is said to have been the first temple in Rome, erected and dedicated by Romulus to commemorate his winning of the Spolia Opima from Akron, king of the Seninenses, and to serve as a repository for them. Iapita Phrytrius was therefore equivalent to Iapita lapis, the latter used for a specially solemn oath. 130, according to Livy 10:5 and Plutarch. Marcellus 8. Though the meaning of this epithet is related to the peculiar frame used to carry the spolia opima to the god, the fretrum, itself from verb phero. Jupiter centumpeda, literally, he who has 100 feet, that is, he who has the power of establishing, of rendering stable, bestowing stability on everything, since he himself is the paramount of stability. Jupiter fulgur, lightning Jupiter, fulgurator or fulgens. Jupiter lucetius, of the light, an epithet almost certainly related to the light or flame of lightning bolts and not to daylight, as indicated by the Jovian verses of the Carmen Celia. 164, I. Jupiter Optimus Maximus, the best and greatest. Optimus, J, because of the benefits he bestows, Maximus, because of his strength, according to Cicero Prodemosua. 28. Jupiter Pluvius, sender of rain. Jupiter Ruminus, breastfeeder of every living being, according to Augustine. 165. Jupiter Stator, from stare, to stand, he who has power of founding, instituting everything, thence also he who bestows the power of resistance, making people, soldiers, stand firm and fast. 166. Jupiter Summonus, sender of nocturnal thunder. Jupiter Terminalis or Iapita Terminus, patron and defender of boundaries. Jupiter Tigillus, beam or shaft that supports and holds together the universe. 167. Jupiter Tonans, thunderer. Jupiter Victor, he who has the power of conquering everything. 167. Syncretic or geographical epithets, edit. Some epithets of Jupiter indicate his association with a particular place. Epithets found in the provinces of the Roman Empire may identify Jupiter with a local deity or site, see syncretism. Jupiter Ammon, Jupiter equated with the Egyptian deity Ammon after the Roman conquest of Egypt. Jupiter Brixianus, Jupiter equated with the local god of the town of Brescia in Cisalpine Gaul, modern North Italy. Jupiter Capitolinus, also Jupiter Optimus Maximus, venerated throughout the Roman Empire at sites with a capital. Capitolium. Jupiter Dolikinus, from Dolik in Syria, originally a bellwether and war god. From the time of Vespasian, he was popular among the Roman legions as god of war and victory, especially on the Danube at Carnuntum. He is depicted as standing on a bull, with a thunderbolt in his left hand, and a double axe in the right. Jupiter Indiges, Jupiter of the country, a title given to Aeneas after his death, according to Livy, 168. Jupiter Ladicus, Jupiter equated with a Celtiberian mountain god and worshipped as the spirit of Mount Ladicus in Galatia, northwest Iberia, 169, preserved in the toponym Codos de Ladico. 170. Jupiter Laterus or Latiaris, the god of Latium. Jupiter Parthenus or Partinus, under this name was worshipped on the borders of northeast Dalmatia and Upper Moesia, perhaps associated with the local tribe known as the Partheni. Jupiter Poeninus, under this name worshipped in the Alps, around the Great St. Bernard Pass, where he had a sanctuary. Jupiter Solutorius, a local version of Jupiter worshipped in Spain, he was syncretized with the local Iberian god Icus. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Jupiter Tyrannis, Jupiter equated with the Celtic god Tyrannis. Jupiter Eucellinus, Jupiter as a god of high mountains. In addition, many of the epithets of Zeus can be found applied to Jupiter, by Interpretatio Romana. Thus, since the hero Trophonius, from Lebedia in Gytia, is called Zeus Trophonius, this can be represented in English, as it would be in Latin, as Jupiter Trophonius. Similarly, the Greek cult of Zeus Melikios appears in Pompeii as Jupiter Melikios. Except in representing actual cults in Italy, this is largely 19th century usage. Modern works distinguish Jupiter from Zeus. Theology, edit. Sources, edit. Marcus Terentius Varro and Varius Flaccus, K., were the main sources on the theology of Jupiter and archaic Roman religion. In general, Varro was acquainted with the Libri Pontificum, books of the pontiffs, and their archaic classifications. 171, on these two sources depend other ancient authorities, such as Ovid, Servius, Aulus Gellius, Macrobius, patristic texts, Dionysius of Halicarnassus and Plutarch. One of the most important sources which preserve the theology of Jupiter and other Roman deities is the City of God against the pagans by Augustine of Hippo. Augustine's criticism of traditional Roman religion is based on Varro's lost work, Antiquitates Rerum Divinarum. Although a work of Christian apologetics, the City of God provides glimpses into Varro's theological system and authentic Roman theological law in general. According to Augustine, 172, Varro drew on the pontiff Mucius Scivola's tripartite theology. The mythic theology of the poets, useful for the theatre. The physical theology of the philosophers, useful for understanding the natural world. The civil theology of the priests, useful for the state, 173. Jovian theology, edit. Georg Wizowa stressed Jupiter's uniqueness as the only case among Indo-European religions in which the original god preserved his name, his identity and his prerogatives. 126. In this view, Jupiter is the god of heaven and retains his identification with the sky among the Latin poets. His name is used as a synonym for sky. 174. In this respect, he differs from his Greek equivalent Zeus, who is considered a personal god, warden and dispenser of skylight. His name reflects This idea, it is a derivative of the Indo-European word for bright, shining sky. His residence is found atop the hills of Rome, and of mountains in general. As a result, his cult is present in Rome and throughout Italy at upper elevations. 175. Jupiter. Assumed atmospheric qualities, he is the wielder of lightning and the master of weather. However, Wizoa acknowledges that Jupiter is not merely a naturalistic, heavenly, supreme deity, he is in continual communication with man by means of thunder, lightning and the flight of birds, his auspices. Through his vigilant watch he is also the guardian of public oaths and compacts and the guarantor of good faith in the state cult. 176. The Jovian cult was common to the Italic people under the names Iove, Diove, Latin, and Iuve, Diuve, Oscan, in Umbrian only Iuve, Eupata in the Iguvine tables. Wizoa considered Jupiter also a god of war and agriculture, in addition to his political role as guarantor of good faith, public and private, as Iupita Lapis and Dies Fidius, respectively. His view is grounded in the sphere of action of the god, who intervenes in battle and influences the harvest through weather. 177. In Georges Dumézil's view, Jovian theology, and that of the equivalent gods in other Indo-European religions, is an evolution from a naturalistic, supreme, celestial god identified with heaven to a sovereign god, a wielder of lightning bolts, master and protector of the community, in other words, of a change from a naturalistic approach to the world of the divine to a socio-political approach. 138. In Vedic religion, Diospita remained confined to his distant, removed, passive role, and the place of sovereign god was occupied by Varuna and Mitra. In Greek and Roman religion, instead, the homonymous gods *dia and evolved into Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. One interpretation of the lightning in Georgian's tempest is that it represents the presence of Jupiter. 178. Capitoline Triad. Atmospheric deities, by their mastery of thunder and lightning, they expressed themselves and made their will known to the community. In Rome, Jupiter also sent signs to the leaders of the state in the form of auspices in addition to thunder. The art of augury was considered prestigious by ancient Romans. By sending his signs, Jupiter, the sovereign of heaven, communicates his advice to his terrestrial colleague, the king, Rex, or his successor magistrates. The encounter between the heavenly and political, legal aspects of the deity are well represented by the prerogatives, privileges, functions, and taboos proper to his flamen, the Flamen Dialis, and his wife, the Flamiaca Dialis. Dumézil maintains that Jupiter is not himself a god of war and agriculture, although his actions and interest may extend to these spheres of human endeavor. His view is based on the methodological assumption that the chief criterion for studying a god's nature is not to consider his field of action, but the quality, method and features of his action. Consequently, the analysis of the type of action performed by Jupiter in the domains in which he operates indicates that Jupiter is a sovereign god who may act in the field of politics, as well as agriculture and war, in his capacity as such, i.e. in a way, and with the features proper to a king. Sovereignty is expressed through the two aspects of absolute, magic power, epitomized and represented by the Vedic god Varuna, and lawful right, by the Vedic god Mitra. 179, 180. however. Sovereignty permits action in every field, otherwise, it would lose its essential quality. As a further proof, Dumézil cites the story of Tullus Hostilius, the most belligerent of the Roman kings, who was killed by Jupiter with a lightning bolt, indicating that he did not enjoy the god's favor. Varro's definition of Jupiter as the god who has under his jurisdiction the full expression of every being, pens iovem sunt summa, reflects the sovereign nature of the god, as opposed to the jurisdiction of Janus, god of passages and change, on their beginning, pens eonum sunt prima. 181. Relation to other gods, edit. Capitoline Triad, edit. See also, Capitoline Triad. The Capitoline Triad was introduced to Rome by the Tarquins. Dumézil thinks it might have been an Etruscan, or local, creation based on Vitruvius' treatise on architecture, in which the three deities are associated as the most important. 182. It is possible that the Etruscans paid particular attention to Minerva, as a goddess of destiny, in addition to the royal couple Uni, Juno, and Tynia, Jupiter. 183. In Rome, Minerva later assumed a military aspect under the influence of Athenopolis, Polias. Dumézil argues that with the advent of the Republic, Jupiter became the only king of Rome, no longer merely the first of the great gods. Archaic Triad, edit. Main article, Archaic Triad. The Archaic Triad is a hypothetical theological structure, or system, consisting of the gods Jupiter, Mars and Quirinus. It was first described by Wizua, 184, and the concept was developed further by Dumézil. 185, 186, the three-function hypothesis of Indo-European society advanced by Dumézil holds that in prehistory, society was divided into three classes. Dumézil's trifunctional hypothesis as applied to Roman religion. Function subfunction description example Roman God. 1. Sovereignty Jupiter, 187. 1. A. Judicial Jupiter /fides Deus Fidius, 188. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 1. B. Religious Viovis, Janus, 188, Fortuna. 2. Warriors Mars. 2. A. Protection Minerva, Pallas Athena, Castor and Pallas, Mars, Roma. 2. B. Raids and conquest Baena, Mars. 3. Production of wealth Quirinus, Saturnus, Ops, Penates. 3. A. Crop farming Saturnus, Ds Pater, Ceres, Tellus, Quirinus. 3. B. Animal husbandry Castor and Pallas, Juno, Faunus, Neptune, Hercules. 3. C. Commerce Mercury, Fairania, Neptune, Portunus. 3. D. Manual crafts Vulcanus, Minerva, Athena Polytechnia. 3. E. Human fertility Venus, Juno, Quirinus, Mater Matuta, Minerva, Bono D. Late ad. Table notes. It is unclear whether Minerva was a war goddess and / or a craftswoman before her identity was merged with Athena. The list omits most minor deities, for example Attis, Cupid, Deimos, Flora, Liber, Phobos, Pomona, whom the Romans considered agents of high-ranking gods. Several nature gods, such as Aurora, Diana, Fairania, Luna, Selvinus, Sol, only fit into the system via contrivance. For example Fairania as an agricultural god. At least for the three main functions, people in each station in life had their religious counterparts, the divine figures of the sovereign god, the warrior god, and the industrious god. There were almost always two separate gods for class 1, and sometimes more than one for class 3. Over time gods or groups of gods might be consolidated or split, and it is unclear that there were ever any strict separations of all function. The sovereign function, 1, embodied in Jupiter, entailed omnipotence, thence, a domain extended over every aspect of nature and life. L. The three functions are interrelated with one another, overlapping to some extent. The sovereign function, although including a part that is essentially religious in nature, is involved in many ways in areas pertaining to the other two. Therefore, Jupiter is the magic player in the founding of the Roman state and the fields of war, agricultural plenty, human fertility, and wealth. 187. This hypothesis has not found widespread support among scholars. Jupiter and Minerva, edit. Apart from being protectress of the arts and craft as Minerva Capta, who was brought from Philaera to Minerva's association to Jupiter and relevance to Roman state religion is mainly linked to the Palladium, a wooden statue of Athena that could move the eyes and wave the spear. It was stored in the Penis interior, in a Penis of the Ides Vesta, Temple of Vesta, and considered the most important among the Pygnera Imperatou, pawns of dominion, empire. 190. In Roman traditional law it was brought from Troy by Aeneas. Scholars though think it was last taken to Rome in the 3rd or 2nd century BC. 191. Juno and Fortuna, edit. The divine couple received from Greece its matrimonial implications, thence bestowing on Juno the role of tutelary goddess of marriage, Ianopranuba. The couple itself though cannot be reduced to a Greek appor. The association of Juno and Jupiter is of the most ancient Latin theology. 192. Prenest offers a glimpse into original Latin mythology. The local goddess Fortuna is represented as milking two infants, one male and one female, namely Jove, Jupiter, and Juno. 193. It seems fairly safe to assume that from Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. The earliest times they were identified by their own proper names, and since they got them they were never changed. Through the course of history, they were called Jupiter and Juno. These gods were the most ancient deities of every Latin town. Prenest preserved divine filiation and infancy as the sovereign god, and his padre Juno have a mother who is the primordial goddess Fortuna Primigenia. 194. Many terracotta statuettes have been discovered which represent a woman with a child. One of them represents exactly the scene described by Cicero of a woman with two children of different sex who touch her breast. Two of the votive inscriptions to Fortuna associate her and Jupiter, Fortunae Iovi Puro and Fortunae Iovis Puro. 195. In 1882 though Armo 8 published an inscription in which Fortuna is called daughter of Jupiter, raising new questions and opening new perspectives in the theology of Latin gods. 196. Dumézil has elaborated an interpretative theory according to which this aporia would be an intrinsic, fundamental feature of Indo-European deities of the primordial and sovereign level, as it finds a parallel in Vedic religion. 197. The contradiction would put Fortuna both at the origin of time and into its ensuing diachronic process, It is the comparison offered by Vedic deity Aditi, the not bound or enemy of bondage, that shows that there is no question of choosing one of the two apparent options. As the mother of the Aditya, she has the same type of relationship with one of his sons, Daksha, the minor sovereign, who represents the creative energy, being at the same time his mother and daughter, as is true for the whole group of sovereign gods to which she belongs. 198. Moreover, Aditi is thus one of the heirs, along with Savita, of the opening god of the Induranians, as she is represented with her head on her two sides, with the two faces looking opposite directions. 199. The mother of the sovereign gods has thence two solidal but distinct modalities of duplicity, i.e. of having two foreheads and a double position in the genealogy. Angelo Brilic has interpreted this theology as the basic opposition between the primordial absence of order, chaos, and the organization of the cosmos. 200. Janus, edit. Main article, Janus. The relation of Jupiter to Janus is problematic. Varro defines Jupiter as the god who has potestas, power, over the forces by which anything happens in the world. Janus, however, has the privilege of being invoked first in rites, since in his power are the beginnings of things, prima, the appearance of Jupiter included. 201. Saturn, edit. Main article, Saturn, mythology. The Latins considered Saturn the predecessor of Jupiter. Saturn reigned in Latium during a mythical golden age reenacted every year at the festival of Saturnalia. Saturn also retained primacy in matters of agriculture and money. Unlike the Greek tradition of Cronus and Zeus, the usurpation of Saturn as king of the gods by Jupiter was not viewed by the Latins as violent or hostile. Saturn continued to be revered in his temple at the foot of the Capitol Hill, which maintained the alternative name Saturnius into the time of Varro. 202. A Pasqualini has argued that Saturn was related to Jupiter Latiaris, the old Jupiter of the Latins, as the original figure of this Jupiter was superseded on the Alban Mount, whereas it preserved its gruesome character in the ceremony held at the sanctuary of the Latia Hill in Rome, which involved a human sacrifice and the aspersion of the statue of the god with the blood of the victim. 203. Fides, edit. Main article, Fides, mythology. The abstract personification Fides, faith, trust, was one of the oldest gods associated with Jupiter. As guarantor of public faith, Fides had her temple on the Capitol, near that of Capitoline Jupiter. 204. Deus Fidius, edit. Main article, Deus Fidius. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Deus Fidius is considered a theonym for Jupiter, 205, 206, and sometimes a separate entity also known in Rome as Semo. Sancus Deus Fidius. Wizard argued that while Jupiter is the god of the Fides Publica Populi Romani as Jupiter Lapis, by whom important oaths are sworn, Deus Fidius is a deity established for everyday use and was charged with the protection of good faith in private affairs. Deus Fidius would thus correspond to Zeus Pistos. 207. The association with Jupiter may be a matter of divine relation. Some scholars see him as a form of Hercules. 208. Both Jupiter and Deus Fidius were wardens of oaths and wielders of lightning bolts. Both required an opening in the roof of their temples. 136. The functionality of Sancus occurs consistently within the sphere of Fides, oaths and respect for contracts and of the divine sanction guarantee against their breach. Wizoa suggested that Semosancus is the genius of Jupiter, 209, but the concept of a deity's genius is a development of the imperial period. 210. Some aspects of the oath ritual for Dies Fideis, such as proceedings under the open sky or in the compluvium of private residences, and the fact the temple of Sancus had no roof, suggest that the oath sworn by Dies Fideis predated that for Iapita Lapis or Iapita Fratrius. 211. Genius, edit. Main article, Genius, Mythology. Augustine quotes Varro, who explains the genius as the god who is in charge and has the power to generate everything, and the rational spirit of all, therefore, everyone has their own. Augustine concludes that Jupiter should be considered the genius of the universe. 212. G. Wizoa advanced the hypothesis that Semosancus is the genius of Jupiter. 209. W. W. Fowler has cautioned that this interpretation looks to be an anachronism, and it would only be acceptable to say that Sancus is a genius Iovius, as it appears from the Iguvine tables. 213. Censorinus cites Granius Flaccus as saying that the genius was the same entity as the La in his lost work De Indigite Mentis. 214, 215, probably referring to the La Familiaris. Mutunus Tutunus had his shrine at the foot of the Valian hill, near those of the Dii Penates and of Vicapata, who were among the most ancient gods of the Roman community of. According to Wizoa. 216. Dumézil opines that the attribution of a genius to the gods should be earlier than its first attestation of 58 BC, in an inscription which mentions the Iovis genius. 217. A connection between genius and Jupiter seems apparent in Plautus' comedy Amphitryon, in which Jupiter takes up the looks of Alcmena's husband in order to seduce her. J. Hubio sees there a reflection of the story that Scipio Africanus' mother conceived him with a snake that was in fact Jupiter transformed. 218. Scipio himself claimed that only he would rise to the mansion of the gods through the widest gate. 219. Among the Etruscan Penates there is a genius Iovialis who comes after Fortuna and Ceres and before Pales. 220. Genius. Iovialis is one of the Penates of the humans and not of Jupiter, though, as these were located in region I of Martianus. Capella's division of heaven, while Genius appears in regions V and 6 along with Ceres, favor, possibly a Roman approximation to an Etruscan male manifestation of Fortuna, and Pales. 221. This is in accord with the definition of the Penates of man being Fortuna, Ceres, Pales and Genius Iovialis, and the statement in Macrobius that the Laerentalia were dedicated to Jupiter as the god whence the souls of men come from and to whom they return after death. 222. Summonus, edit. Main article, Summonus. The god of nighttime lightning has been interpreted as an aspect of Jupiter, either a chthonic manifestation of the god or a separate god of the underworld. A statue of Summonus stood on the roof of the temple of Capitoline Jupiter, and Iapita. Summonus is one of the epithets of Jupiter. 223. Dumézil sees the opposition Dies Fideis versus Summonus as explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Complementary, interpreting it as typical to the inherent ambiguity of the sovereign god exemplified by that of Mitra and Varuna in Vedic religion. 224. The complementarity of the epithets is shown in inscriptions found on Putial S or Bedental S. Reciting either fulgur diam conditum, 225, or fulgur summonum conditum in places struck by daytime versus nighttime. Lightning bolts respectively. 226. This is also consistent with the etymology of summonus, deriving from sub and main, the time before morning. 227. Liber, edit. See also, Liber. Iapita was associated with Liber through his epithet of Liber, association not yet been fully explained by scholars, due to the scarcity of early documentation. In the past, it was maintained that Liber was only a progressively detached hypostasis of Jupiter. Consequently, the vintage festivals were to be attributed only to Iapita Liber. 228. Such a hypothesis was rejected as groundless by Wizua, although he was a supporter of Liber's Jovian origin. 229. Olivier de Cazeneuve contends that it is difficult to admit that Liber, who is present in the oldest calendars, those of Numa, in the Libralia and in the month of Liber at Lavinium, 230, was derived from another deity. 231. Such a derivation would find support only in epigraphic documents, primarily from the Osco-Sabellic area. 232. Wizua sets the position of Iapita Liber within the framework of an agrarian Jupiter. The god also had a temple in this name on the Aventine in Rome, which was restored by Augustus and dedicated on the 1st of September. Here, the god was sometimes named Liber, 233, and sometimes Libertas. 234. Wizua opines that the relationship existed in the concept of creative abundance through which the supposedly separate Liber might have been connected, 235, to the Greek god Dionysos, although both deities might not have been originally related to viticulture. Other scholars assert that there was no Liber, other than a god of wine, within historical memory. 236. Olivier de Cazeneuve argues that the domain of the sovereign god Jupiter was that of sacred, sacrificial wine, vinum imphorum, 237, 238, while that of Liber and Libra was confined to secular wine, vinum spicum, 239. These two types were obtained through differing fermentation processes. The offer of wine to Liber was made possible by naming the mustum, grape juice, stored in amphoras sacrima. 240. Sacred wine was obtained by the natural fermentation of juice of grapes free from flaws of any type, religious, e.g. those struck by lightning, brought into contact with corpses or wounded people, or coming from an unfertilized grapeyard, or secular, by cutting it with old wine. Secular, or profane, wine was obtained through several types of manipulation, for example, by adding honey, or mulsum, using raisins, or parsum, by boiling, or defrutum. However, the sacrama used for the offering to the two gods for the preservation of grapeyards, vessels and wine, 241, was obtained only by pouring the juice into amphors after pressing. 242. The mustum was considered spicum, dirty, and thus unusable in sacrifices. 243. The amphor itself, not an item of sacrifice, permitted presentation of its content on a table or could be added to a sacrifice. This happened at the Auspicatio Vindemii for the first grape, 244, and for ears of corn of the primitium on a dish, las, at the Temple of Ceres. 245. Dumézil, on the other hand, sees the relationship between Jupiter and Liber as grounded in the social and political relevance of the two gods, who were both considered patrons of freedom. 246. The Libralia of March were, since earliest times, the occasion for the ceremony of the donning of the toga virilis or libra, which marked the passage into adult citizenship by young people. Augustine relates that these festivals had a particularly obscene character. A phallus was taken to the fields on a cart, and then back in triumph to town. In Lavinium they lasted a month, during which the population enjoyed bawdy jokes. The most honest matroni were supposed to publicly crown the phallus with flowers, to ensure a good harvest and repeal the fascinatio, evil eye. 230. In Rome representations of the sex organs were placed in the temple of the couple Liber Libra, who presided over the male and female components of generation and the liberation of the semen. 247. This complex of rites and beliefs shows that the divine couple's jurisdiction extended over fertility in general, not only that of grapes. The etymology of Liber, archaic form loifer, was explained by Emile Benveniste as formed on the ie theme *loid plus the suffix s. Its original meaning is the one of germination, he who ensures the sprouting of crops. 248. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. The relationship of Jupiter with freedom was a common belief among the Roman people, as demonstrated by the dedication of the Mons Sacer to the god after the first secession of the plebs. Later inscriptions also show the unabated popular belief in Jupiter as bestower of freedom in the imperial era. 249. Viove, edit. Main article, Virjovis. Scholars have been often puzzled by Iove, or Viovis, or Vidius, and unwilling to discuss his identity, claiming our knowledge of this god is insufficient. 250, 251, 252. Most, however, agree that Viove is a sort of special Jupiter or anti-Iove, or even an underworld Jupiter. In other words, Viove is indeed the Capitoline god himself, who takes up a different, diminished appearance, Euvnes and Parvus, young and gracile, in order to be able to discharge sovereign functions over places, times and spheres that by their own nature are excluded from the direct control of Jupiter as Optimus Maximus. 253. This conclusion is based on information provided by Gellius, 254, who states his name is formed by adding prefix ve, here, denoting deprivation or negation, to Iove, whose name Gellius posits as rooted in the verb iuvo I benefit. D. Sabatuxi has stressed the feature of bearer of instability and antithesis to cosmic order of the god, who threatens the kingly power of Jupiter as stator and centumpeder and whose presence occurs side by side to Janus on the 1st of January, but also his function of helper to the growth of the young Jupiter. 255. In 1858 Ludwig Preller suggested that Viovis may be the sinister double of Jupiter. 256. The god, under the name Vetis, is placed in the last case, number 16, of the outer rim of the Piacenza liver, before Silens Nocturnus, who ends, or begins in the Etruscan vision, the disposition of the gods. In Martianus Capella's division of heaven, he is found in region 15 with the die publici. As such, he numbers among the infernal, or antipodal, gods. The location of his two temples in Rome, near those of Jupiter, one on the Capitoline Hill, in the low between the Arcs and the Capitolium, between the two groves where the asylum founded by Romulus stood, the other on the Tiber island near that of Iapeta Eurus, later also known as Temple of Aesculapius, 257, may be significant in this respect, along with the fact that he is considered the father of Apollo, perhaps because he was depicted carrying arrows. 258, he is also considered to be the unbearded Jupiter. 259, the dates of his festivals support the same conclusion, they fall on the 1st of January, 260, the 7th of March, 261, and the 21st of May, 262, the first date being the recurrence of the Agonalia, dedicated to Janus and celebrated by the king with the sacrifice of a ram. The nature of the sacrifice is debated. Gellius states capra, a female goat, although some scholars posit a ram. This sacrifice occurred rito humano, which may mean with the rite appropriate for human sacrifice. 263, Gellius concludes by stating that this god is one of those who receive sacrifices so as to persuade them to refrain from causing harm. The arrow is an ambivalent symbol. It was used in the ritual of the devotio, the general who vowed had to stand on an arrow. 264, it is perhaps because of the arrow and of the juvenile looks that Gellius identifies Viove with Apollo. 265, and as a god who must receive worship in order to obtain his abstention from harming men, along with Robigus and Averuncus. 266, the ambivalence in the identity of Viove is apparent in the fact that while he is present in places and times which may have a negative connotation, such as the asylum of Romulus in between the two groves on the Capitol, the Tiberine island along with Faunus and Aesculapius, the Calends of January, the nuns of March, and the 21st of May, a statue of his nonetheless stands in the Arcs. Moreover, the initial particle ve which the ancients supposed were part of his name is itself ambivalent as it may have both an accretive and diminutive value. 267. Maurice Besnier has remarked that a temple to Iapeta was dedicated by Praetor Lucius Furius Papurio before the battle of Cremona against the Celtic Sanomani of Cisalpine Gaul. 268. An inscription found at Brescia in 1888 shows that Iapeta Eurus was worshipped there. 269, and one found on the south tip of Tiber Island in 1854 that there was a cult to the god on the spot too. 270. Besnier speculates that Lucius Furius had evoked the chief god of the enemy and built a temple to him in Rome outside the Pomorum. On the 1st of January, the Fasti Praenestini record the festivals of Aesculapius and Vadiove on the island, while in the Fasti Ovid speaks of Jupiter and his grandson. 271, Livy records that in 192 BC, Duum Vacu Marcus Ralla dedicated to Jupiter on the Capitol the two temples promised by L. Furius Papurio, one of which was that promised during the war against the Gauls. 272, Besnier would accept a correction to Livy's passage, proposed by Jordan, to read: Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Coin with laureate head of Jupiter, obverse. And, reverse, victory, standing, Roma below. In relief. Eads Viove instead of Eads Dur Iov. Such a correction concerns the temples dedicated on the Capitol, it does not address the question of the dedication of the temple on the island, which is puzzling, since the place is attested Epigraphically as dedicated to the cult of Iupiter Eurus, in the Fasti Praenestini of Vadiove, 273, and to Jupiter according to Ovid. The two gods may have been seen as equivalent. Iupiter Eurus is an awesome and vengeful god, parallel to the Greek Zeus or Chios, the avenger of perjury. 274. A. Pasqualini has argued that Viovis seems related to Iupiter Latiaris, as the original figure of this Jupiter would have been superseded on the Alban Mount, whereas it preserved its gruesome character in the ceremony held on the sanctuary of the Latia Hill, the southernmost hilltop of the Quirinal in Rome, which involved a human sacrifice. The gens Iulia had Gentilician cults at Beauvais, where a dedicatory inscription to Vadiove has been found in 1826 on an ARA. 275, according to Pasqualini it was a deity similar to Vadiove, wielder of lightning bolts and chthonic, who was connected to the cult of the founders who first inhabited the Alban Mount and built the sanctuary. Such a cult once superseded on the Mount would have been taken up and preserved by the Iulii, private citizens bound to the Sacra Albana by their Alban origin. 276. Victoria, edit. See also, Victoria, mythology. Victoria was connected to Iupiter Victor in his role as bestower of military victory. Jupiter, as a sovereign god, was considered as having the power to conquer anyone and anything in a supernatural way. His contribution to military victory was different from that of Mars, god of military valor. Victoria appears first on the reverse of coins representing Venus, driving the quadriga of Jupiter, with her head crowned and with a palm in her hand. During the First Punic War, sometimes, she is represented walking and carrying a trophy. 277. A temple was dedicated to the goddess afterwards on the Palatine, testifying to her high station in the Roman mind. When Hieron of Syracuse presented a golden statuette of the goddess to Rome, the Senate had it placed in the temple of Capitoline Jupiter among the greatest and most sacred deities. 278, 279. Although Victoria played a significant role in the religious ideology of the late Republic and the Empire, she is undocumented in earlier times. A function similar to hers may have been played by the little-known Vicar Ptah. Citation needed. Terminus, edit. See also, Terminus, God. Juventas and Terminus were the gods who, according to legend, 280, refused to leave their sites on the Capitol when the construction of the Temple of Jupiter was undertaken. Therefore, they had to be reserved a sacellum within the new temple. Their stubbornness was considered a good omen. It would guarantee youth, stability and safety to Rome on its site. 281. This legend is generally thought by scholars to indicate their strict connection with Jupiter. An inscription found near Ravenna reads Iupiter Terrace 282, indicating that Terminus is an aspect of Jupiter. Terminus is the god of boundaries, public and private, as he is portrayed in literature. The religious value of the boundary marker is documented by Plutarch, 283, who ascribes to King Numa the construction of temples to Fides and Terminus and the delimitation of Roman territory. Ovid gives a vivid description of the rural right at a boundary of fields of neighboring peasants on the 23rd of February, the day of the Terminalia. 284. On that day, Roman pontiffs and magistrates held a ceremony at the 6th mile of the Via Laurentina, ancient border of the Roman Ager, which maintained a religious value. This festival, however, marked the end of the year and was linked to time more directly than to space, as attested by Augustine's Apologia on the role of Janus with respect to endings. 285. Dario Sabataxi has emphasized the temporal affiliation of Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Terminus, a reminder of which is found in the right of the Regifugium. 286. Dumézil, on the other hand, views the function of this god as associated with the legalistic aspect of the sovereign function of Jupiter. Terminus would be the counterpart of the minor Vedic god Bhaga, who oversees the just and fair division of goods among citizens. 287. Euvantas, edit. See also, Euvantas. Along with Terminus, Euvantas, also known as Euvantus and Euunta, represents an aspect of Jupiter, as the legend of her refusal to leave the Capitol Hill demonstrates. Her name has the same root as Juno, from Iuu, young, youngster, the ceremonial litter bearing the sacred goose of Juno Monitor stopped before her Sacellum on the festival of the goddess. Later, she was identified with the Greek Heb. The fact that Jupiter is related to the concept of youth is shown by his epithets pure, Euuntus and Iovist, interpreted as the youngest by some scholars. 288, 205, 289, 290, Dumézil noted the presence of the two minor sovereign deities Bhaga and Ahriman beside the Vedic sovereign gods Varuna and Mitra. Though more closely associated with Mitra, the couple would be reflected in Rome by Terminus and Euvantas. Ahriman is the god of young soldiers. The function of Euvantas is to protect the Euvans, the Novitagati of the year, who are required to offer a sacrifice to Jupiter on the Capitol, 291, and the Roman soldiers, a function later attributed to Juno. King Servius Tullius, in reforming the Roman social organization, required that every adolescent offer a coin to the goddess of youth upon entering adulthood. 292. In Dumézil's analysis, the function of Euvantas, the personification of youth, was to control the entrance of young men into society and protect them until they reach the age of Euvans or Ionios, i.e. of serving the state as soldiers. 289. A temple to Euvantas was promised in 207 BC by consul Marcus Livius Salinator and dedicated in 191 BC. 293. Penates, edit. See also, Penates. The Romans considered the Penates as the gods to whom they owed their own existence. 294, as noted by Wizua. Penates is an adjective, meaning those of or from the penis the innermost part, most hidden recess. 295, Dumézil though refuses Wizua's interpretation of penis as the storeroom of a household. As a nation the Romans honored the Penates. Publici, Dionysius calls them Trojan gods as they were absorbed into the Trojan legend. They had a temple in Rome at the foot of the Velian Hill, near the Palatine, in which they were represented as a couple of male youth. They were honored every year by the new consuls before entering office at Lavinium, 296, because the Romans believed the Penates of that town were identical to their own. 297. The concept of di Penates is more defined in Etruria. Arnobius, citing Acesius, states that the Etruscan Penates were named Fortuna, Ceres, Genius Iovialis and Pales. According to Nigidius Figulus, they included those of Jupiter, of Neptune, of the infernal gods and of mortal men. 298. According to Varro, the Penates reside in the recesses of heaven and are called consents and complices by the Etruscans because they rise and set together, are 12 in number and their names are unknown, 6 male and 6 females, and are the Councellors and masters of Jupiter. Martianus states they are always in agreement among themselves. 299. While these last gods seem to be the Penates of Jupiter, Jupiter himself along with Juno and Minerva is one of the Penates of man according to some authors. 300. This complex concept is reflected in Martianus Capella's division of heaven, found in Book I of his De Nuptiis Mercuriae et Philologiae, which places the dii consents Penates in region I with the favors Opportunii, Ceres and Genius in region V. Pales in region 6, favor and Genius, again, in region 7, Secundinus Pales, Fortuna and favor Pastor in region 11. The disposition of these divine entities and their repetition in different locations may be due to the fact that Penates belonging to different categories, of Jupiter in region I, earthly or of mortal men in region V, are intended. Favor, S, may be the Etruscan masculine equivalent of Fortuna. 301. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. See also, edit. Versacrum. Planets in astrology # Jupiter. Zeus. Notes, edit. A. Based on the tradition of dedicating Jovian temples on the Ides. This assumption is supported by the calendar of Philocalus, which states on the Ides of January, 13 Iov Statrici, Ursensis, M. Icius, Xiv. B. Rome's surviving calendars provide only fragmentary evidence for the theory, but Wizoa believes that every Ide was sacred to him. See in Roman legend Aeneas vowed all of that year's wine of Latium to Jupiter before the battle with Mezentius, 102. Wizoa had already connected the poplar Fugia to Jupiter. 106. E. Jean Gage thinks the murder of Servius Tullius occurred on this date, as Tarquin the Proud and his wife Tullia would have taken advantage of the occasion to claim publicly that Servius has lost the favor of the gods, especially Fortuna. 111. F. Most common in poetry, for its useful meter, and in the expression by Jove. G. English Thursday, German Donnerstag, is named after Tuna, Thor, or Old High German Dana from Germanic mythology, a deity similar to Jupiter Tonans. H. Iupitus has been recognized as an interpretatio of the Phaeacian god. 142. Cum tonas, Eleusis, Praeted Tremonti. J. Optimus is a superlative formed on ops, ability to help. The ancient form is optimus from opitimus. Compare the epithet opitulus, the helper. K. The work of Varius Flaccus is preserved through the summary of Sextus Pomptus Festus and his epitomist Paul the Deacon. L. The color relating to the sovereign function is white. The war function color is red, and the production /farming function color is black. 185, 188, 189. References, edit. 1 Evans, James, 1998. The History and Practice of Ancient Astronomy. Oxford University Press. pp. 2967. ISBN 978-0-19. 509,539-5. Retrieved 4 February 2008. 2 Saturni Filius, FRG. 2 in the edition of Barron's. 3 Keats, John, 26 April 2007. Selected Poems, Keats. Penguin UK. ISBN 9780141936918 via Google Books. 4 Demirage 2011, p70, Demirage 2002, p34, Demirage 1997, pp. 431432, Mann 1977, p72, Treyman 1971, p32, Curtis 2017, p. 1746, Colligan 2017, p. 2254. Full citation needed. 5 Baal, Ancient Deity. Encyclopaedia Britannica, online ed. 31 July 2024. 6 West, M.L. 1966, Hesiod Theogony, 1831, Kirk, G.S. 1970, Myth, Its Meaning and Function in Ancient and Other Cultures. 214220 Berkeley and Los Angeles, with Zeus being the Greek equivalent of Jupiter. 7 Basham, A.L., ed. 1986, Jupiter, The Wonder That Was India, Rupar & Co., p. 236. 8 West, M.L. 2007. Indo-European Poetry and Myth. Oxford University Press. p. 171. ISBN 9780199280759. 9 Burkert, Walter, 2005. Chapter 20, Near Eastern Connections. In Foley, John Miles, ed. A Companion to Ancient Epic. New York City, New York and London, England, Blackwell Publishing. pp. 295, 299-300. ISBN 978-1-4051-0524-8. 10 Krull, Julia, 2018. The Revival of the Anu Cult and the Nocturnal Fire Ceremony at Late Babylonian Uruk. Brill. p. 41. Do. 10.1111/9789004364943. ISBN 9789004364936. 11 Plines, J. David, 2010. When the Great Abyss Opened, Classic and Contemporary Readings of Noah's Flood. New York, Oxford University Press. p. 110. ISBN 978-0-19-973363-7. 12 Krop, Andreas J. M. 2010. Jupiter, Venus and Mercury of Heliopolis, Baalbek. Syria, 87229264. Do. 10.4000/Syria.681. 13 Fontainrose, 1980, pp. 150, 158. 14 Ipita is thought to be the historically older form and Iapita, to have arisen through the so-called literal rule. Compare Weiss. 2010. Observations on the literal rule, PDF. Cornell Phonetics Lab. Ithaca, NY, Cornell University. Archived from the original, PDF, on the 17th of October 2016. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 15-carat AB de Varon, Michael, the 31st of October 2018. Etymological Dictionary of Latin and the Other Italic Languages. Leiden, Boston. p. 315. ISBN 9789004167971. 16-carat du Mézil, 1974, p. Page needed, citing Pliny Naturalis Historia x16. Alfoldi zu den römischen Räteschreiben in Germania 30. 1952 p. 188 and n11. 17-carat du Mézil, 1977, p. 215 n58. 18-carat Servius ad Enidem 2374. 19-carat Dictionary of Roman Coins, see for example reverse of Consecratio coin of Emperor Commodus and coin of Ptolemy V. Epiphanes. Minted c. 204180 BC. 20-carat Larousse Desk Reference Encyclopedia, The Book People, Haydock, 1995, p. 215. 21-carat Diespota should not be confused with Dispata, but the two names do cause confusion even in some passages of ancient literature. P.T. Eden, Commentary on the Apocolocyntosis, Cambridge University Press, 1984, 2002, pp. 111112. 22-carat Massimo Pallottino, Etruscan Demonology, p. 41, and Robert Schilling, Rome, pp. 44 and 63. Both in 1981, 1992, Roman and European Mythologies, University of Chicago Press, 1992, Tronsa. From the 1981 French edition. Giuliano Bonfant and Larissa Bonfant, 1983, 2003, The Etruscan Language, An Introduction, Manchester University Press Rev. ed. pp. 24, 84, 85, 219, 225. Nancy Thompson de Grummond, 2006, Etruscan Myth, Sacred History, and Legend, University of Pennsylvania Museum of Archaeology and Anthropology, pp. 19, 53-58 It Passim. Jean McIntosh Turfer, 2012, Divining the Etruscan World, The Brontoscapic Calendar and Religious Practice Cambridge University Press, p. 62. 23-carat Beard, North and Price, 1998, p. 59, Volume 1. 24-carat Orlin, in Rupk, 2007, p. 58. 25-carat Sheed, in Rupk, 2007, pp. 263271, Du Mézil, 1977, p. 181 citing Jean Bait Les Annales de Tite Live Edition G. Bude Volume 3 1942 Appendix VP 153 and N3. 26-carat Du Mézil, 1977, p. 259 Note 4, compare. Servius Ecclogae X27 Undietum triumphants habent omnia insignia Iovis, Septrum. Parmatamque togum wherefore also the triumphing commanders have all the insignia of Jupiter, the scepter and the toga. Parmata. On the interpretation of the triumphal dress and of the triumph, Larissa Bonfant has offered an interpretation based on Etruscan documents in her article, Roman Triumphs and Etruscan Kings, The Changing Face of the Triumph in Journal of Roman Studies 60 1970 pp. 4966 and Tables I8. Mary Beard rehearses various views of the triumphator as God or King in the Roman Triumph, Harvard University Press, 2007, pp. 226232, and expresses skepticism. 27 Messil, 1977, citing Livy v. 23, 6 and 617, 5. 28 AB du Messil, 1977, p. 177. 29 du Messil, 1977, citing Dionysius of Halicarnassus Roman Antiquities 690, 1, Festus SVP 414 L. 2nd. 30 Forsyth, 2005-2006, p. 159 It Passim. 31 Macrobius, Saturnalia 1.16. 32 Matthew Dillon and Linda Golland, Religion in the Roman Republic, in Ancient Rome, from the Early Republic to the Assassination of Julius Caesar, Routledge, 2005, pp. 127, 345. 33 Most of the information about the Flamen Dialis is preserved by Aulus Gellius, Attic Nights X15. 34 Macrobius Saturnalia I16, 8, Flamiaca quotiens to nitrua or dicit feriator erat, donc placarcit dios. The adjective feriatus, related to feriae, holy days, pertains to keeping a holiday, and hence means idle, unemployed, not performing one's usual tasks. 35 Livy I20, 1-2. 36 Plutarch Questions Romani 113. 37 Livy Xae 8, 8. 38 Aulus Gellius, 10.15.5, item iure di alum fars numquam ist, Robert E. A. Palmer, The Deconstruction of Momsen Festus. 462/464L, or The Hazards of Interpretation, in Imperium Sine Fine, T. Robert S. Broughton and the Roman Republic, Franz Steiner, 1996, p. 85, Francis X. Ryan, Rank and Participation in the Republican Senate, Franz Steiner, 1998, p. 165. The Vestals and the Flamen Dialis were the only Roman citizens who could not be compelled to swear an oath, Aulus Gellius. 10.15.31, Robin Lash Wildfang, Rome's Vestal Virgin, a study of Rome's Vestal priestesses in the late Republic and early Empire, Routledge, 2006, p. 69. 39 du Messil, 1977, p. 147. 40 du Messil, 1977, pp. 94-96, 169, 192, 502-504. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 41 Wizua, 1912, p. 104. 42 Dionysius of Halicarnassus Rom. Ant. I21, 1, Livy I32, 4. See also Ius Gentium. 43 Livy I24, 8. 44 Livy I32, 10. 45 du Messil, 1977, pp. 502-504 and 169. 46 Wizua, 1912, p. 104, citing Paulus p. 92m. Servius Nes 12-206, Livy I24, 38, 95, 3, XXX 43, 9, Festus p. 321m. Pliny Naturalis Historia XXII 5, Marcianus apud Digesta I 8 par. 1. Servius Ennies 8 641, 12 120. 47 Varro in his Lingua Latina v writes of Crustumerian secession, a secession Crustumerina. 48 F Valocia Manio Valerio Massimo Dittator ed Orga in Diritto at Storia 7 2008, online. 49 CM Arenalfi Plib, Pontifex Massimo, Tribuni della Plib, a proposito di Livio 3.54.5 14 in Diritto at Storia 5 2006, online. 50 Hendrik Wagenvoort, Characteristic Traits of Ancient Roman Religion, in Pietas, Selected Studies in Roman Religion, Brill. 1980, p. 241, ascribing the view that there was no early Roman mythology to W.F. Otto and his school. 51 Described by Cicero, De Divination 2.85, as cited by Littlewood, 2010, p. 212. 52 CIL 1.60, as cited by Littlewood, 2010, p. 212. 53 J. Champio Fortuna. Le culte de la fortune romit dans le monde romain. I Fortuna dans la religion archaïque 1982. Rome, Publications de l'École française de Rome, as reviewed by John Sheed in Revue de l'Histoire des Religions 1986 203 1. pp. 67-68, Cants Rendas. 54 Fowler, 1899, pp. 223225. 55 Dumézil, 1977, pp. 51-52 and 197. 56 Ovid Fasti 3, 284392. Festus S.V. Memori Vituri p. 117 L as cited by Dumézil, 1977, p. 197. 57 Plutarch Numa 18. 58 Dumézil, 1977, p. 175 citing Livii 31. 59 A Bloc Prodigii Divination nell'Antica Roma 1973. Citing Livii 34, 810. 60 Macrobius Saturnalia 36. 61 Ovid Fasti I, 587588. 62 Varro de Lingua Latina 616. Sacrifices to Jupiter are also broached in Macrobius Saturnalia 310. The issue of the sacrificial victims proper to a god is one of the most vexed topics of Roman religion. Compare Gerard Capdeville Substitution de victimes dans les sacrifices d'animaux et Romain mélanges de l'École française de Rome 83 1971 pp. 283323. Also G. Dumézil. Quaestionculi Indo Italici, 11. Iov Toro Vereriat Immolari non Lycae in Revue d'Etudes Latins 39 1961 pp. 242257. 63 Beard, North and Price, 1998, pp. 3236, Volume 1, The consecration made this a sacred spring, the sacrum. The contract with Jupiter is exceptionally detailed. All due care would be taken of the animals, but any that died or were stolen before the scheduled sacrifice would count as if already sacrificed. Sacred animals were already assigned to the gods, who ought to protect their own property. 64 Dumézil, 1977, pp. 258261. 65 Ovid, Fasti I, 201 f. 66 Wizua, 1912, p. 107, Livy x 36, 1 and 37, 15f. 67 Livy I 12, Dionysius of Halicarnassus 259, Ovid Fasti 6, 793, Cicero Catilinaria I 33. 68 Wizua, 1912, p. 107, CIL 6 434, 435, 9 3023, 4534, x 59-4, also 3 1089. 69 Wizua, 1912, p. 198 and N1. 70 Wizua, 1912, p. 108 and N1 citing Vitruvius de Architecture 3-1, 5. 71 Gross, Pierre, 1997. Iapita tonans. Instein by Eva Margarita, ed. Lexicon Topographicum Urbis Romae, in French. Volume 3. Rome, Edition Equaza. pp. 159160. ISBN 978-88-7140-096-9. 72 CIL 6 438. 73 Corelli, Filippo, 1997. Iapita Invictus. Instein by Eva Margarita, ed. Lexicon Topographicum Urbis Romae, in Italian. Volume 3. Rome, Edition Equaza. p. 143. ISBN 978-88-7140-096-9. 74 Protocols of a Sacerdotal Collegium, Wizua, 1912, citing CIL 6 2004-2009. 75 Livy I 31-18. 76 Macrobius I 16. This identification has though been challenged by a Pasqualini. 77 Festus SV Preci Latini p. The Latin towns that existed before the foundation of Rome. 78 L. Schmitz in W. Smith Dictionary of Greek and Roman Antiquities London 1875 SV. Theory EP 529. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 79 Cicero de Divination I-18, Dionysius Hal. R449, 3. Festus P 212 LL30 F. Scholiasta Bogiensis ad Ciceronis pro Plansio. 23. 80 Festus SV Oscillants P 194 M. Cialobeca Glaufamus Civ de Theologiae Mystici Graecorum Causi Libritas Königsberg. 1829 p. 585. 81 Cicero pro Plansio 23, Varro de Lingua Latina 625, Pliny Naturalis Historia 369. 82 Pliny Xae 45. 83 de Cazenove, 1988, p. 252 cites Alfoldi Early Rome and the Latins Ann Arbor 1965 p. 33 n6. 84 Wizua, 1912, p. 109, L. Schmitz in Dictionary of Greek and Roman Antiquities London 1875 SV. Theory EP 529, Nibara. History of Rome 2 p. 35 citing Livy v. 42, Plutarch Camillus 42. 85 Wizua, 1912, p. 110. CIL 2011-2022, 14 2236 2248. 86 Wizua, 1912, p. 110. 87 Livy XLII 21, 7. 88 Wizua, 1912, p. 101, citing Macrobius Saturnalia I 15, 14 and 18, Iohannes Ligus de Mensibus 3 7, Plutarch Questions. Romani 24. 89 Wizua, 1912, p. 101, citing Varro de Lingua Latina v 47, Festus p. 290, Muller, Paulus p. 104, Ovid Fasti I, 56 and 588. Macrobius Saturday I 15, 16. 90 Wizua, 1912, p. 101. The Epula I Ovis fell on the 13th of September and the 13th of November. The temple foundation and festival dates are the 13th of September for Jupiter Optimus Maximus, the 13th of April for Jupiter Victor, the 13th of June for Jupiter Invictus, and perhaps the 13th of January for Jupiter Stator. 91 Cassius and Rutilius apud Macrobius I 16, 33. Tuditanus claimed they were instituted by Romulus and Titius I 16, 32. 92 Macrobius I 16, 30. Flamiaca Iov Ariatum Solitum Ole, du Mesil, 1977, p. 163 and n 42, citing Achaeus up Michels The Calendar of the Roman Republic 1967 pp. 84-89. 93 Lipka, 2009, p. 36. 94 Wizua, 1912, pp. 101-102. 95 du Mesil, 1977, p. 174. 96 Wizua, 1912, p. 101, citing Pliny nh 18 This festival day was established for the placation, i.e. averting, of storms. Hunc diem festum tempestatabus leniendis institutum. 97 Wizua, 1912, citing Digest 212, 4. 98 du Mesil, 1977, p. 173. 99 Wizua, 1912, p. 102. 100 Wizua, 1912, pp. 101-102, citing Varro de Lingua Latina 621 Novum Vetus Vinum Bibo, Novo Veteri Morbo Media. 101 G du Mesil, Fetis Romains Dietit d Automne, Paris, 1975, pp. 97-108. 102 Compare. Du Mesil, 1977, p. 173, Ovid Fasti 4, 863 ff. 103 Wizua, 1912, p. 102, citing Varro de Lingua Latina 616, Pliny Naturalis Historia 18 Ovid Fasti 4, 863 ff, Paulus p. 65 and 374 m. 104 Forsyth, 2005-2006, p. 136. Populace originally meant not the people, but army. 105 Robert Turcan, The Cults of the Roman Empire, Blackwell, 1992, 1996, 2001 printing, originally published 1989 in French, p. 75. 106 Wizua, 1912, p. 102, citing Cassius Dio Xlei 18 and the Fastia Miterninae, Theorii Iovis. 107 Forsyth, 2005-2006, p. 137. 108 Andre Magdalene Auspicia ad Paters Redeunt in homage a Jean Beit Bruckels 1964 527 ff. See also Jean Beit Histoire politique et psychologique de la religion romaine Paris 1957 p. 99, Jacques Hugon, Rome et la Méditerranée occidentale Paris. 1969 pp. 204208. Paul M. Martin La fonction calendaire du roi de Rome et sa participation à certains faits in annales de Bretagne des Pays de l'Ouest 83 1976 2 pp. 239244 part. p. 241, and Sabatuxi, 1988, as reviewed by Turcan, 1989. p. 71. 109 Lipka, 2009, p. 33, note 96. 110 Forsyth, 2005-2006, p. 192. 111 Jean Gage La Mort de Servius Tullius et la Char de Tullier in Revue Belge de Philologie et de Histoire 41 1963 1 pp. 2562. 112 Forsyth, 2005-2006, p. 132. 113 Henry Le Bonnier Le Culte de Ceres à Rome Paris 1958 p. 348, Developing Jean Beit Les Annales de Tite Life, Titus Livius. AUC Libri qui Supersunt, EDG Bude Volume 3 Paris 1942 Appendix V pp. 145153. 114 du Mézil, 1977, pp. 485486. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 115 Momsen Romischin Verchungen 2p42ff. Puts their founding on 366 BC at the establishment of the curule edility. Cited by Wizua, 1912, p. 111. 116 Livii 35, 9. 117 Wizua, 1912, pp. 111112, citing Livy v. 41, 2. Tertullian de Coronamolitis 13, Dionysius of Halicarnassus Antic. Rom. 772. Marquardt states Verwaltung 3 508. 118 du Mézil, 1977, p. 488. 119 du Mézil, 1977, p. 181 citing Jean Beit Les Annales de Tite Live Edition G. Bude Volume 3 1942 Appendix V p. 153 and N3. 120 Wizua, 1912, p. 112, citing Mommsen Cili 2nd p. 329, 335, Armisch Verchungen 245, 4. 121 Inverim v 36 and Paulus S. Veludi Magni p. 122 m. 122 Macrobius 10, 11. 123 Wizua, 1912, p. 102, citing Gellius x 15, 12. 24, Paulus p. 87 m. Pliny Naturalis Historia 18 119, Plutarch Quarist. Romani 111. 124 Indo-European and the Indo-Europeans. American Heritage Dictionary of the English Language, 4th ed. 2000. Archived from the original on the 1st of March 2009. Retrieved the 27th of September 2008. 125 Wizua, 1912, p. 100, citing Varro de Lingua Latina v66. The same peculiarity is revealed even better by the ancient name of Jupiter, since once he was named Diovis and Diespita, that is Dies Pater, day father. Consequently the beings issued from him are named Dia, gods, Dias, god, Diuum, day, hence the expressions sub Diuo and Dias Fidias. This is why the temple of Dias Fidias has an opening in the roof, in order to allow the view of the Diuum, i.e. the Xylem sky tr. By J. Collett, quoted by Y. Learman below, Paulus p. 71 Dium, the divinest sky, who denotes what is in the open air, outside the roof, derives from the name of Jupiter, as well as Dialis, epithet of the flamen of Jupiter, and Dias, that is applied to a hero descended from the race of Jupiter, and 87 m. 126 ABC Wizua, 1912, p. 100. 127 Wizua, 1912, p. 100, n2. 128 CILV 783, IOV Diano from Aquileia. 129 Muller, HF. Jupiter. The Oxford Encyclopedia of Ancient Greece and Rome. p. 161. 130 AB Platner and Ashby, 1929, p. 293. 131 AB der Grosse Brockhaus, Volume 9, Leipzig, Brockhaus 1931, p. 520. 132 Walter W. Skeat, A Concise Etymological Dictionary of the English Language, Oxford, Clarendon Press 1882, Oxford University Press 1984, p. 274. 133 Wizua, 1912, p. 108, citing Varro de Lingua Latina v47 and Festus p. 290 MSV. Idulia. 134 Wizua, 1912, p. 108, citing Paulus p. 92 m. Servius ad Enidem 8641. 135 Wizua, 1912, p. 108, citing Festus p. 189 MSV Lapis, Polybius Historiae 325, 6. 136 AB Dumézil, 1977, p. 169. 137 Dumézil, 1977, p. 167. The Carmen Salayajas, cum tonas lucici praeted trementi / tibi et ini dies cum tonarim. 138 AB Dumézil, 1977, pp. 167-168. 139 Dumézil, 1977, p. 168, citing Petronius Satyricon 44. 140 Paulus SVP 94 L. 2nd, p. 2m, Tertullian Apologeticum 40. 141 Apuleius de Mundu 37, compare. Iapetus CIL 6 431, 433, 11 6312, Iapita Pluvialis CIL 11 324. 142 F. Senerini above p. 104, citing Giancarlo Susani Iapita Serinus e Altridia in Epigraphica 33 1971 pp. 175177. 143 Vitruvius de Architectura I2, 5, CILI 2nd p. 331, Sanctuary in the Campus Martius, dedicated on the 7th of October according to Calendaries. 144 CIL 12 1807. 145 CIL 6 377, 3821, 1596, 1677, 3593, 3594, 6342 cited by Wizua, 1912, p. 107. 146 Festus SV Provissum Fulgur p. 229 m. Itarch Iov Fulguriat Summino Fit, Quod Diurna Iovis Nocturna Summini Fulgura. Habenta. As cited by Wizua, 1912, p. 107. 147 Augustine de Civitate dia 711. Pecunia is tentatively included in this group by Wizua, 1912, p. 105 n4. Cfr. Augustine de Civitate dia 711 and 12. 148 Frugifer CIL 12 336. Apuleius de Mundu 37. 149 Cathoda Agricultura 132, Paulus SVP 51m. 150 CIL 6 3696. 151 Wizua, 1912, p. 105 n4 understands pecunia as protector and increaser of the flock. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 152 Bruno Migliore in ISV. Roma in Encyclopedia Italiana di Scienze, Lettere ed Arti Volume 6 p. 589, a W. Schlegel sound-like work. Leipzig 1847 12 p. 488, Efkat Romisch Geschichte Heidelberg 1843 p. 32-3. 153 Hammond and Scullard, 1970, p. 940. 154 Servius 4 339. 155 Cathoda Agricultura 132, Festus SV Daps, Dapolis, Dapaticum pp. 177178 L. 2nd. 156 Epulo CIL 6 3696. 157 Wizua, 1912, pp. 105108. 158 Livii 12, 46. 159 Livii x 36, 11. 160 Du Mézil, 1996, pp. 174175. 161 Livii x 29, 1217. Nefando sacro, mixta hominum pecudum seeds, by an impious rite, a mixed slaughter of people and flock 39, 16, 42, 6-7. 162 Sabatuxi, 1988, as summarized in the review by Turcan, 1989, p. 70. 163 Hyginus Astronomica. Translated by Mary Grant. PT 1, Chapter 2, Sec. 13. Archived from the original on 1 June, 2013. 164 Du Mézil, 1977, p. 168. 165 St. Augustine, The City of God, Books 110, pg 218. 166 St. Augustine, The City of God, Books 110. 167 AB Augustine de Civitate Dia 711. 168 Livy, AB Erbkanditar Book 1. 169 CIL2, 2525, Tautine. 1921 43 ff. 170 Smith, Dictionary, SV. Ladicus. 171 Dumézil, 1974, Remarques Preliminaires X, Dumézil, 1977, p. 59 ff, citing Lucien Gichel Varon Logician in Le Thomas 17. 1958 pp. 65-72. 172 Augustine de Civitate Dia 427, 6-5. 173 Pepin, J. 1956. La théologie tripartite de Varon. Revue des études augustiniennes. 2, 265294. 2. 10.1484/j.rea.5.103923. Dumézil has pointed out that even though Augustine may be correct in pointing out cases in which Varro presented under the civil theology category contents that may look to belong to mythic theology, nevertheless he preserved under this heading the law and legends ancient Romans considered their own. 174 Wizua, 1912, cites 3 passages from Horace, Carmina, I1, 25 Mane sub io frigido venata, I22, 20 quod latus mundi. Nebulae malasciapita erget, 310, 7 ut glaci et nives puro numini apita. 175 On the Esquilin lies the Sacellum of Iapita fagutalis, Varro de Lingua Latina v 152, Paulus p 87 m, Pliny Naturalis Historia. 1637, CIL 6 452, on the Viminal is known as Iapita Viminius, Varro de Lingua Latina v 51, Festus p 376, Iapita Silius. On the Silius, CIL 6 334, on the Quirinal the so-called Capitolium Vetus, Martial v 22, 4, 773, 4. Outside Rome, Iapita. Latiaris on Mons Albanus, Iapita Apenninus, orally 1220, CIL 8 7961 and 11 5803, on the Umbrian Apennines, at Schegia. On the Via Flaminia, Iapita Poeninus, CIL 6865 ff. Cfr. Bernabe Rendiconti della Regia Accademia de Lincei 3, 1887, Fascicullo. 2. p. 363 ff. At Great St. Bernard Pass, Iapita Vesuvius, CIL x 3806, Iapita Siminus, CIL 11 2688, the Sabine Iapita. Cacunus, CIL 9 4876, 6 371. Outside Italy Iapita Culminalis in Noricum and Pannonia, CIL 3328, 4032, 4115, 5186. Supplementum 10303, 11673 etc., as cited by Wizua, 1912, p. 102 and Francesca Senarini Scritta di Santuri extra Urbani. Trilla Alpi Glia Pennini in Melanges de l'École Française de Rome 104, 19921 pp. 94-95. 176 Wizua, 1912, pp. 100-101. 177 Wizua, 1912, pp. 103-108. 178 Salvatore Settis, 1990. Georgian's Tempest, Interpreting the Hidden Subject. University of Chicago Press. p. 62, summarizing. This scholarly interpretation, The Lightning is Jove. Compare. Peter Humphrey, 1997. Painting in Renaissance Venice. Yale University Press. p. 118f. 179 du Mézil, 1996, p. 239. 180 du Mézil, 1977, p. 171. 181 Varro apud Augustin de Civitate dia 79. 182 du Mézil, 1977, p. 274 ff. 183 du Mézil, 1977, p. 271 citing Ovid Fasti 3, 815832. 184 Wizua, 1912, pp. 23, 133-134. 185 AB du Mézil, 1941-1948. 186 du Mézil, 1970, pp. 137-165. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 187 AB du Mézil, 1970, pp. 172, 175. 188 ABC du Mézil, 1948. 189 du Mézil, 1970, p. Page needed. 190 Montanari, 1990, pp. 73 ff, citing Cicero pro Scoro 48, Pignus nostra salutis at Cimpiritu, Servius ad Enidem 2 188, 16. Illic Imperium 4 ubiit Palladium, Festus SVP 152L. 191 Montanari, 1990, pp. 73 ff, citing M. Sordi Lavinio, Roma e il Palladio in Cissa 8 1982 p. 74 ff. W. Volgraph La Palladium de Rome in BAB 1938 pp. 34 ff. 192 du Mézil, 1956, pp. 71-78. 193 Cicero Donat. De 285-86, is ist locus septus religios propter Iovis puri, qui lactans cumi unun in gremio sedens. Mamma repetens, castisime collitua matribus. This is an enclosed place for religious reasons because of Jupiter child, who is seated on the womb with Juno suckling, directed towards the breast, very chastely worshipped by mothers. 194 du Mézil, 1956, p. 96 ff. 195 CIL 14 2868 and 2862, mutile. 196 Armo 8 inscription Latin sur plaque de bronze quis a Rome par educuit in mem. De Larsoc. Nat. Des Antiquités. De France 5 Misa. 343 1882 p. 200, CIL 14 2863, Orsevia numeri / Nash New Cratia / Fortuna Diovo Filia / Primo senior /Dornum Dedi. Cited by Dumézil, 1996, p. 71 ff. 197 Dumézil, 1956, chapt. 3. 198 RG Veda x 72, 45, Dumézil, 1996, p. Page needed, and Maria Cinda Europeans pp. 311312, of Aditi Daxa was born, and of Daxa Aditi, O Daxa, she who is your daughter. 199 Dumézil, 1956, p. 91 n3. 200 Abrilich Traverisioni Romain Sulta Modella Reginae. I Roma e Prenest. Una polemica religiosa nell'Italia antica Pabel. Del Univ. Di Roma 1955-1956. 201 Dumézil, 1977, p. 101 and 290. Discussed at length by Augustine, City of God 7, 9 and 10. Also Ovid Fasti I, 126. 202 D. Brickell Jupiter, Saturnit la Capital in Revue de el Historia des Religions 198-2. 1981 pp. 131162, Varro v 42, Virgil Ennies. 8357-8, Dionysius Hal. I 34, Solinus I 12, Festus p 322 Tertullian Apologeticum 10, Macrobius I 7, 27 and I 10, 4 citing a certain Malleus. See also Macrobius I 7, 3, the annalistic tradition attributed its foundation to King Tullus Hostilius. Studies by E. Gestad in Melanges Albert Grenier Bruckels 1962 pp. 757762, Filippo Corelli in La Parola del Passato 174-1977 p. 215 f. 203 Carita Pasqualini Note Sullubicasian del Lacia in Melanges de l'École Française de Rome 111-19992 p. 784785 citing M. Malavolta all'Udi del Theorie Latina a Roma in a Pasqualini, ed. Alba Longa. Mito Storia Archeologia. Atti dell'incontro di studio. Roma Albano Les Yale 27-29 Gennaio 1994 Roma 1996 pp. 257273, Eusebius de Lauda Constantini 13, 7 equals miles per gallon XX col 1403. 1404, J. Rives Human Sacrifice Among Pagans and Christians in Journal of Roman Studies LXXXV 1995 pp. 6585, Eustinus. Apologeticum 212, 45, G. Puxi Saturno, Il Lato Oscuro in Lars late 1992 p. 5-7. 204 Wisua, 1912, pp. 10101, Dumézil, 1996, p. 348, Cicero de Natura Deorum 261. 205 AB Dumézil, 1974, p. Page needed. 206 Dumézil, 1977, p. 189. 207 Wisua, 1912, p. 103. 208 Roger D. Woodard Vedic and Indo-European Sacred Space Chicago, Illinois UN. Press 2005 p. 189. The scholar thinks Dies. Phidias is the Roman equivalent of Trita-Apia, the companion of Indra in the slaying of Vdra. 209 ABG Wisua in Rosca's Lexicon 1909 SV. Semosancus Col 3654, Wizoa, 1912, p. 131f. 210 Fowler, 1899, p. 139. 211 Osakci il Trivaso del Quirinale in Revue Internationale de Droit de l'Antiquité 2001 pp. 309311, citing Nunnius Marcellus SV. Rituis, LP 494 Attac mi Rituis Nostri, qui podium fidium iure vult, prodiosolit in compluvium, thus according to our rights. He who wishes to swear an oath by Deus Fideus he as a rule walks to the compluvium, an unroofed space within the house. Macrobius Saturnalia 3:11, 5 on the use of the private mensa as an altar mentioned in the Ius Papyrianum, Granius Flaccus. Indigitamenta 8, h. 109, on King Numa's vow by which he asked for the divine punishment of perjury by all the gods. 212 Augustine de Civitate Dia 713, referencing also Quintus Valorus Serranus, H. Wagenvort Genius Agenendum Mnemosine. Forcipal, 4, 1951, pp. 163168, Dumezil, 1977, p. 315, discussing G. Wizoa's and K. Latte's opinions. 213 Fowler, 1899, p. 189. 214 Dumezil, 1977, p. 318. 215 Censorinus de Di Natali 3, 1. 216 Wizoa, 1912, p. 243. 217 Cil 9 3513 from the Lex Templi of the Temple of Iapita Liber at Furfo, Samium. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 218 Aulus Gellius Noctus Attici 6 6. Silius Italicus Punica 13 400-413. Cited by Dumezil, 1977, p. 435, referencing J. Hubio Les Grands Myths de Rome Paris 1945 pp. 81-82 and J. Aimard Scipion L. Africanit les Giens du Capital in Review. D'études Latines 31 1953 pp. 111116. 219 Cicero de Republica 613, equals Somnium Scipianis. 220 Arnobius Adversus Nations 440, 2. 221 G. Capdeville les Dieux de Martianus Capella in Revue de l Histoire des Religions 213, 19963. p. 285. 222 Macrobius I 10, 16. 223 E under L. Pros Darsimi in Etrens M. Legion Paris 1978 pp. 199207 Identify him as an aspect of Jupiter. See also a L. Pros Darsimi Etymology di Itonimi, Venilia, Summono, Vacuna in Studi Linguistici in Honor di Vittor Pisani Milano 1969 pp. 777. 802. 224 Dumezil, 1977, pp. 184-185 citing his Mitra Varana, Si sur deux representations indo-européennes de la souveraineté Paris. 1940-1948. 225 Wizoa, 1912, p. 107, citing Cil 6 205, x 49 and 6423. 226 Wizoa, 1912, CIL 6 206. 227 du Messil, 1977, p. 185. 228 Ludwig Preller Römische Mythologie I Berlin 1881 pp. 195197, E. Ost SV. Iapita, Liber, in Roske Lexikon 2 column 661 f. 229 de Cazenove, 1988, p. Page needed, Cites Wizua, 1912, p. 120 and de Schnegelsberg de Liberi apud Romanos Culture Capita. Duo Dissertation Marburg 1895 p. 40. 230 AB Augustin de Civitate dia 721. 231 de Cazenove, 1988, p. 247 n4. 232 inscriptions from the territory of the Frentani, Zvetaev Silage inscriptionum Oscarum nr3, Vestini, CIL 9 3513, I 2nd 756. Furfo, Sabini, Jordan Analecta Epigraphica Latina p3f. =CIL I 2nd 1838, and Campani, CILX 3786 IOV Liber, O, Capwa. 233 Fasti Arvales ad 1. September. 234 Monumentum Ancyranum 47, CIL 11657 Faventia, 14 2579 Tusculum. 235 Wizua, 1912, p. 106. 236 de Cazenove, 1988, p. 248 Cites Father Bommer unter such Ungenuber die Religion der Sklaven in Griechenland und Rome. Wiesbaden 1957 p. 127 f. 237 Trebatius Testa apud Arnobius ad Nations 731, Solemn quod infereta sacrum. Only that which is spilt is considered sacred. Also Catoda Agricultura XXI 2, XXIV 3, Servius 9 641, Isidore XX 27. 238 de Cazenove, 1988, p. 248 ff. 239 Marcus Antistius Labio apud Festus SV, p. 474 l. 240 Father All-Time Terra Metagiesen 1931 p. 22 and n4 while acknowledging the obscurity of the etymology of this word proposed. The derivation from Caeserima as bruma from brevissima, onomata Latina it Graeca sv, novum vinum, corpus glossatorum. Latinorum 2 p. 264. 241 Columella de Re Rustica 1218, 4 mentions a sacrifice to Liber and Libra immediately before. 242 Paulus SV Sacrima p. 423 l, Festus p. 422 l, Mutile. 243 Isidore Origins XX3, 4, Enrico Monitoneri Funzione della Sofranita e Fest del Vino nella Roma Repubblicana in Studii. Materiali di Storia del Religione 49 1983 pp. 242262. 244 G. du Messil questi Unculi Indo Italici 1416 in Review de Etudes Latins x6 1961 pp. 261274. 245 Henry Le Bonnier Culte de Ceres à Rome Paris 1958 pp. 16162. 246 du Messil, 1977, pp. 331332. 247 Augustin de Civitate dia 7:3, 1. 248 Liber et Liberi in Review d'Etudes Latins 14-1936 pp. 52-58. 249 Curators Iov Libertati CIL 11657 and Iov Obsequenti Publi CIL 11658 from Bagna Cavallo, Iapita Impetrabilis from Crimella Sopra Munza published by G. Zecchini in Rivista di Studi Italiani e Latini 110-1976 pp. 178182. The double presence of Jupiter and Farinea at Bagna Cavallo has led to speculation that the servile manumission, legal ritual action by which slaves were freed, was practiced in this sanctuary. Giancarlo Susani San Pietro in Silvis, Santurio Pagans e Villaggio Plebano nel Ravenate in Melanges Offerts AG Sanders Steenbrug 1991 pp. 395-400. Cited in F. Senerini above p. 103. 250 du Mézil, 1977, p. 188 n. 44. 251 Fowler, 1899, pp. 121122. 252 Kurt Latte Romische Religionsgeschichte Munich 1960 p. 81 and n3. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 253 G. Picaluga L. Antiupita in Studi e Materiali di Storia del Religione Xxiv 1963 p. 229-236, Aegia Stad Viovis, a pre-Indo-European god in Rome. In Opuscola Romana 9, 4 1973 pp. 35-42. 254 Aulus Gellius v12. 255 Sabatuxi, 1988, as summarized by Turcan, 1989, pp. 70, 72-73. On the aspect of making Jupiter grow up, Turcan cites the De Narratu struck by Manius Fonctus and Valerian the Younger of the type Iov Crescenti mentioned by Alfoldi in Studienza. Geschichte der Weltkrieg 3. JHDN.chr. Darmstadt 1067 p. 112 f. 256 Ludwig Preller Römische Mythology IP 262 f. 257 Ovid Fasti I, 291294. 258 Ferruccio Bernini Video. I Fasti, Translation and Commentary, 3 429, Bologna 1983, reprint. 259 Vitruvius de Architectura 48, 4. 260 Ovid Fasti. Fasti Praenestini Cili 2nd p. 231, Iscu, Lapio Vadiovi in Insula. 261 Fasti Preen, non. Mart. F. As, Ovi Artis Vadiovis Interduos Lucas, Ovid Fasti 3, 429430. 262 Ovid Fasti v. 721722. 12 Cal. Ian. N.P. Agonia, Esquire Kaya. Ven Math, Vadio v. Ven. 263 Wizua on the grounds of Paulus's Glossa Humanum Sacrificium p91 interprets with a rite proper to a ceremony in honor of the deceased. G. Picaluga at N15 and 21 pp. 231232. The remarks that Gellius does not state sacrificium humanum but only states Imolacha crucha humano capra. 264 carat livy 89, 6. 265 carat Gellius V12, 12. 266 carat Gellius V12. The Romans knew and offered a cult to other such deities, among them Febri, Tussis, Mephistus. 267 carat G. Picaluga L. Antigupita in Studi e Materiali di Storia del Religione Xiv 1963 p. 233 to 234 and notes 30, 31 citing Gellius V12 and Pliny the Elder Naturalis Historia 16 216, non it simulacrum viovis in arsa. 268 carat livy XXXI 21. 269 carat et orpi cil supplementa italica I adimenta LCILV in atti de linci, memory v 1888 n 1272, IOMIURD, E. C. On scriptorum, S. Angtantia. 270 carat CILI 1105, C. Volcus ICF Ha. De Stipio v Urario, Onimenchum. 271 carat Ovid Fastii, 291295. 272 carat Livy XXXV 41. 273 carat CFR above, Eculapio Vadiovi in Insula. 274 carat Maurice Besnia Jupiter Jurors in Melanges d Archaeologie et d Histoire 1898 pp. 287-289. 275 carat CIL 14 2387 equals ILS 2988 equals ILRIP 270 equals CILI 807, Vadio via Patrae Gentiles Iulii Lege Albina Decatur. 276 carat Pasqualini la base documentari della leggenda di Alba Longa Università di Roma Torfogate 2012 online. 277 carat du Mesil, 1977, p. 408. 278 carat du Mesil, 1977, p. 413. 279 carat Livix XAE2, 1012. 280 carat Dionysius of Halicarnassus Rom. Antiquities 369, 56. 281 carat Dionysius of Halicarnassus above 369, Florus I7, 9. 282 carat CIL 11 351. 283 carat Plutarch Numa 16. 284 carat Ovid Fasti 2, 679. 285 carat Augustine de Civitate dia 77. 286 carat Sabatuxi, 1988, p. Page needed. 287 carat du Mesil, 1977, pp. 186187. 288 carat Wizua, 1912, p. 135. 289 carat AB du Mesil, 1977, pp. 185186. 290 carat C.W. Atkins Latin il ustit la vocabulaire religio Indo-Européen in Melanges Benveniste Paris, 1975, pp. 527535. 291 carat Wizua, 1912, p. 135, citing Servius Danilis Eclogae 450. 292 carat Piso apud Dionysius of Halicarnassus Rom. Antiquities 415, 5. 293 carat Livy XXXV 36, 5. 294 Macrobius Saturnalia 3489 citing Varro, Perquos Penitus Spiramus. Sabine McCormack The Shadows of Poetry, Virgil. In the Mind of Augustine University of California Press 1998 p. 77. 295 du Mézil, 1977, pp. 311312. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. 296 Varro de Lingua Latina v144, Plutarch Coriolanus x62, Macrobius Saturnalia 3411, Servius ad Enidem 296, as cited by du Mézil, 1977, p. 313. 297 du Mézil, 1977, p. 313. 298 Arnobius Adversus Nations 340. Compare also Lucan Pharsalia v 696, 705, 821. 299 Arnobius Adversus Nations 340, 3, Martianus Capellad Nuptiis I 41, Senators Dearum qui penates vererben tonantis. Ipsius quorum gnomina, quinium publicae secretum silist non potulit, ex eo quod omnia parita repromittunt, nominis. Consentium perficit. 300 Arnobius Adversus Nations 344, Macrobius Saturnalia 349. 301 Gerard Capdeville les dieux de Martianus Capella in Revue de l'Histoire des Religions 213, 19963 pm 285 citing Karl Olof. Thulin die Gotte des Martianus Capella und der Bronzeleber von Piacenza, equals RGVV 31, Giessen 1906 pp. 38-39. On the topic. See also a L. Lusci Cacu, Forno e Venti in Studi Etrusci 57 1991 pp. 105117. Works cited, edit. Beard, Mary, North, J. Price, SRF. 1998. Religions of Rome, A History. Cambridge University Press. De Cazenove, Olivier, 1988. Jupiter, Liber Itla vin Latin. Revue de l'Histoire des Religions. 205, 3245265. Do. 10.3406/RHR.1988.1888. Du Mézil, G. 1941-1948. Jupiter Mars Quirinus. Volume I4. Paris, Gallimard. OL 187185005M. Du Mézil, G. 1948. Mitra Varana. Paris, Gallimard. Du Mézil, G. 1956. 3 Fortuna Primigenia. Dices Latins et Myths Vedics. Collection Le Thomas. Volume 25. Bruckelsburg M. Le Thomas. Du Mézil, G. 1970, 1966. Archaic Roman Religion. Volume I translated by Krapp, Philip. U. Chicago. Du Mézil, G. 1974. La Religion Romaine Archaïque, 2nd ed. Paris, Pau. Du Mézil, G. 1977. La Religion Romana Archaica. Con un appendice sulla religione degli Etrusci. Milano, Rizzoli, Edizioni. Traduzione cura di Fiorio GC. Du Mézil, G. 1996. Archaic Roman Religion, with an appendix on the religion of the Etruscans. Baltimore, M.D., Johns Hopkins University Press. ISBN 0-8018-5481-4. Fontenrose, Joseph edi. 1980, 1959. Python, A Study of Delphic Myth and Its Origins, reprint ed. Berkeley, California, Los Angeles, California, and London, England, The University of California Press. ISBN 978-0-520-04106-6. Forsyth, Gary, 2005-2006. A Critical History of Early Rome, From Prehistory to the First Punic War. University of California Press. Fowler, William Ward, 1899. The Roman Festivals of the Period of the Republic. Hammond, N.G.L. Scullard, H.H., eds. 1970. Jupiter. The Oxford Classical Dictionary. Oxford University Press. ISBN 0-19. 860641-9. Lipka, Michael, 2009. Roman Gods, A Conceptual Approach. Brill. Littlewood, Arjoy, 2010. Fortune. The Oxford Encyclopedia of Ancient Greece and Rome. Volume 1. Oxford University Press. Montanari, E. 1990. Mito e Storia nell'Analistica Romana dell'Origine. Roma, Ateneo. Platner, Samuel Ball, Ashby, Thomas, 1929. Jupiter Fritrius. A Topographical Dictionary of Ancient Rome. London, Oxford. University Press, H. Milford. pp. 293-294. OCLC 10614881. Ids Iovis Optimi Maximi Capitolini pp. 297302. Ruppk, Georg, ed. 2007. A Companion to Roman Religion. Huyler Blackwell. ISBN 978-1-4051-2943-5. Sabatuxi, Dario, 1988. La Religione di Roma Antica, dal Calendario Festivo all'Ordine Cosmico. Turcan, Robert, 1989. N/A. Review del Historia des Religions. 206, 169-73. Wieser, Georg, 1912. Religion und Kultus der Römer. Munich, C.H. Beck SCHE. Further reading, edit. Dumézil, G. 1988. Mitrovarana, An Essay on Two Indo-European Representations of Sovereignty. New York, Zone Books. ISBN 0-942299-13-2. External links, edit. The Warburg Institute Iconographic Database, Images of Jupiter. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Categories: Jovian deities, planetary gods, sky and weather gods, thunder gods, justice gods, Roman gods. Kings in Roman mythology, mythological rapists, deities in the Aeneid, Jupiter, god, Baal. Metamorphoses, characters, Capitoline triad, die consents, Zeus, kings of the gods. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF.